since the very beginning in 2021. Happy to see you all. Thank you.
Saad.
I am good. Hello, everyone. I am Saad Isa. I am a procurement consultant working with the procurement team at IFAD on the open system. Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Johannes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Janis Strute. I work as a procurement consultant, and I'm happy to moderate the chat today.
Thank you. We're going to record this session, so then you can also, after you can also refer back to it and also share it with other colleagues. I see. I hope everyone can hear me well and clear. And now I will start by sharing the screen. Just a few housekeeping things. We will do a break about halfway in the training session. We'll do a small 5-10 minute interval so people can also get a glass of water and take a break if needed. And we will not have a PowerPoint presentation. We really want to get to the system, show you the functionalities, go through the processes, and make the best use of time. 3 hours is a lot of time, but there's also a lot to ground to cover. So it's really important. Johannes will moderate the chat, and feel free to put in any questions in the chat. We will also then take questions at specific moments. I think this is. I will start by sharing my screen, and just bear with me 1 second. Okay. So here we go. So first of all, we are going to be using a training environment to deliver this training today. And as you can see right now, and throughout the training, we will be using different roles. You will see we have a procurement specialist. We have also other types of roles, but we will be covering a lot of different roles. So we will always trying to make it clear who are we logged in as. So right now I'm logged in as a procurement specialist of a project. This specific project is in Cambodia, and it's the IMS project. And you can see here, we have already created a procurement plan. And we're starting this since we've already open now has been already launched for about, in some countries also up to a year ago. We're also, we're trying to make it as current, providing as scenarios completed. As you can see in this procurement plan, this is the overall view. And you can see in this procurement plan, we already have $545,000 of procurement activities planned in it. We have the name of the project. We can see also we have the overview card here. We have 10 procurement activities. 1 is in implementing status. 6 have been approved, so received IFAD no objections. 3 have been completely implemented. You also have other information on the projects and so on. On the top, you have your notification bar. Your task lists. And also here you'll see as things happen in the project, you will see how let's say this area develops and provides you information on what's going on. We also have a time machine. It's something we will cover towards the end. It's to help you navigate the system over time. But I want to start with some basic setups at the beginning. I think it's important when you start using the system, you do these mandatory basic setups. This is under your personal profile here on the right top screen. Under your name, you can click on the drop down and you go to preferences. So preferences is where you do a lot of these settings. And these are settings relevant to you as a user. So you click on preferences, and there are a few things you can do here. First of all, we have a theme. So like you can do on a lot of your phones, in case you're working at night, you can have a light theme, you can have a dark theme based on the lighting of the current the current lighting in where you work. If you're working a lot of night, you can put a dark mode. And now when I press save, you will see what that does. Language, this is the language of the system. The system is in English, French, and Spanish. I'm sure with other Google plugins, I've seen other colleagues in different countries also are able to translate the system in others, but we will keep it in English since this training is focused for English-speaking projects. This is time zone. This is your time zone. This is where you are based. So this is important. You set it correctly, and we have all the international time zone standards because the system also relies on where you are in order to provide you notifications. Notifications, you can decide how these are released to you. You can do them immediately as soon as they're launched. You can have an hourly digest of your notification, a daily digest where every day all the notifications are dropped to you at once, or a weekly one, which I think is a bit maybe too long. So we'll just keep them immediately because I want to receive my notifications immediately, but everything is customizable. I will leave the dark theme to dark so you can see how the system looks. You can see that by that, the screen became black. So this is probably more easier to work with than the white screen. But for this training, we're going to revert this to white. I'm just going to go back to my user preferences, and I will just select light, and I'll just save. Okay, so we're back at on our procurement plan, and I'll access the procurement to my project by clicking on the name of it. So this is my project, and you can see there's a lot of information. We are starting, we're basically already implementing some activities. You can see one's being implemented. You can see 6 are approved, 3 are completed. But once I've drilled into the project, I have different tabs here. So now we will go through these tabs, but it's very clear. Here's the name of the project. This is the region in which the project is the Asia Pacific region. This is the country. This is the project ID IFAD assigned to the Accelerating Inclusive Markets for Smallholders project. This is the status of the project. So it's available for disbursement. We also see the SACAP risk, which is substantial in this case. Okay, so we can go through the different thresholds, the different tabs. So the first one is the thresholds. So we, with Open, have digitalized your letter to the borrower, or now how it's called, the project procurement arrangements. The thresholds that are in it are visible to you here. So all the thresholds of the system are available here, and you can see you have your prior review thresholds, which before you had to consult looking at the paper version of the LTB. Now this is all digitalized, and as you know, as we will see during the training, they're automatically presented there. Basically, you can always consult your thresholds. They're always available here, and whenever there's a change, you will see it here because you see whenever when the thresholds have been published. These ones been approved by the senior procurement officer, so IFAD staff of IFAD. They've been approved on this date. So you see the different prior review thresholds. You can see them by procurement method. So this is for works and non-related services. Here you can see the ones for goods, and you can see the ones for consultancy services. And then you can see also the ones for grants. So we have these for different thresholds. We also have thresholds, shortlisting thresholds. So in this case, the threshold for which shortlisting is mandatory. And then we have the procurement method threshold. So you can see for each method, what is the specific threshold based on the activity amount. So anyways, these are available to you here, so you can always consult them and refer to them. But important, you can always see, you will have a record of all the older versions available to here, and you can always compare in case you need to see what has changed. If a new version comes, you can select the older version on the right-hand screen, so you can do compare. And then you can say, I want to compare, and I just want to see only what's changed. So you know what has changed in the new threshold. So this one's the thresholds have changed. So you'll see in green what's been added, and in red what has changed. So this is to facilitate comparisons and reviews. Okay, so this is thresholds, and then I will go back. I will go back to the plan page. So it's kind of the home page where you see all the activities. Now I will move to holidays, because I think it's a very important aspect of the holidays. So holidays are basically your public holidays in your country, when or a regional one here in Italy, for example. We have even some places where you have a holiday which is relevant only to one city. But anyways, this is to help you plan. So at the beginning of each year, it's good. The first thing to do is to create your holidays, but you can always create add holidays to your existing let's say, plans. And this will be factored into the planning. So just very quickly, I just want to show you how to create a holiday. You just go on the holidays tab, you create holidays in calendar, you click on add, and I'm going to call it national holiday. So I given it the name. I can put on which date this holiday is. I will put it on the 20th of December, and then I can save. You can add more than once. You can add one. You can add more than one in the system, and you can just publish them. You can just publish them to make them effective. By publishing them, we're saying we're making them actually effective into our planning. And you can see the one activity has been one holiday on the 20th or 12th has been created. You can always edit a holiday. Let's say you want to add one. You can just click on draft, and then you can you click on draft holidays again, and you can change this one. You can add another one. So really, there's a lot of flexibility. I'll just put national holiday 2, and I'll just put it on the 21st. So you can, it's very flexible like that. It's for you to manage, and you just press publish. And this allows these dates to make sure that when you're planning your procurements, things don't fall on these specific national holidays. So it's factored in automatically in the planning of your project and of your plans. Okay, this is quite straightforward. Just remember, under holidays, you click on draft, you can edit, you can delete. So you can see then also after over the years, you can also see the different holidays you have in the years. Okay, so I'll just go back. I'll just click on back on plan, and to go back to the main project page. And so we've covered the holidays. Now I will cover the people tab very quickly. So the people tab is to show you who from the project team has access to the system, their roles, their titles, and also you see from the IFAD team, you will see the procurement consultant who generally you're in touch or you support. Some of you know very well, and also some of the support team from the IFAD side. You will not see the name of the country director here because they're the owners of the, let's say, their information is elsewhere, but you will definitely see the people you will engage with from the project side as well, and from the procurement consultant side. But you see here we have a project staff. So a project staff means you have the viewing rights. You have a project director, which is the person who is the only person who can submit the procurement plan to IFAD, only the procurement plan. All the other no objections can be requested by the procurement specialist. We also have a role for the procurement assistant, who can prepare a lot of the procurements, but cannot request no objections. So in case you want to have any changes here, this information needs to be sent to the senior procurement officer of IFAD and to the country director, telling them we want to change, we want to grant access. So they're the ones managing this information. But all the information is very transparent, is available here. You can see who's who has access, and the roles are also, we can have some projects, you can have multiple procurement specialists, so multiple people can create, submit. So there's different ways of managing it. There's a lot of flexibility. Also, you can, but all has to be documented with a formal request to the senior procurement officers. Okay, to keep on things moving, I'm just going to go back now to the plan, and we're going to cover documents. Documents open is an important repository for documents. This is important. You can use it as a place where you can store documents. We will see you can store documents. You can store documents against the plan, against an activity. So here we are at the project level, and you can share general documents related to the project. You can see here, you will find already this plan had already received a no objection, so to the 2023 procurement plan. So you can see it, you can find it here, and we will look at this later when we will issue a new no objection on the plan. I'm going to upload a document just to show you that you can add additional documents to the plan itself. So I'm going to upload maybe an approval of the procurement plan at the government level that you need to do in your context. You can upload it here just for your, you can use the system as a repository, basically. So you can see a document has been approved there. You can, in case you want to delete, you just go to more. You can add a new version. You can edit the properties. You can give it a name. You can say email approval of PP, and, and you can, so then that is also, you can see it here, so you can help, it helps understanding what it is. But this is additional supporting documents. So, it's just there for you to know. The no objection letters related to the plans are automatically uploaded here when the no objections are issued. So you can download it just by clicking on it, and you can see when the no objection was issued, and you can find it in PDF, and you can see it there. And basically, this is, you can always remove, delete documents, add new versions. So this concept of documents it's very similar across the system. You always press on more and new version, and and you can upload, you can drag and drop multiple documents. So, and you can see it's for the multiple files up to 45 megabytes, which is significant amount of storage capability. Okay. Now we will go back to, I will move to the project info. So project info is the information related to your project. This is for you to maintain. You can add a project logo. You can put an email of the, you can put this is something you need to agree within your teams, with the coordinators, with the project directors, what information you want to keep. And this is basically contact information. You can put, maybe you guys have a generic email address. So you can put project@project.gov. And then you can put the procurement entry. I can put the Ministry of Agriculture. Oh, no typo. You can put the contact name. So I can put the name of the procurement specialist, of the project, or you can really put anything that this is you want. So, and this is the time zone. This is the time zone of the PMU. This is important because the system relies, like I said, on dates, and sometimes you can have a country director that is traveling, that is on the, maybe comes to headquarters and issues a no objection. So the date stamps are also relevant because to the timing of the time zone of the PMU, because maybe someone issues a no objection in the evening in Rome and it's already the next day in Asia. So it's important, and it's a one-time setup. You set up your time zone. This is for the PMU. you set it once and you're good. So RPMU today is set in Rome. And then I'm just going to save, and this information is there, and you can always edit it. It's not that what you put in there, it's there for good. So you can always edit it, but it's good to do this one time so the information is complete. Okay, and it's quite straightforward. I think we've covered this in other training sessions before. I just thought it would be good to cover it in case we have newcomers joining the training today. So I'm going to go back to plan. So we've covered the thresholds, the documents, the people, the holidays. We've covered the area relevant to your setups. So I just want to show you a little bit now the different views and cover that aspect as well. Let me just show you a little bit on the right-hand side. You see here, you can see what's going on in the project. So in all the activities, what's the latest movement? So about 3 hours ago, we had uploaded a document. We had completed a step. So there's a lot of things going on. And as you familiarize and you learn how to use the system, you will also understand. But this is myself, but it provides, let's say, an information on what's going on overall. On the left, you have search fields. In case you're looking for a specific activity, I'm looking for a goods. You click on goods, and it will show you all your goods activity for your project. And you can see, you can find them there. You can search for each activity has a unique identifying number. So it's the name of the project, the PLG, the country, and then you see 009 goods ICB. That gives you these numbers are unique. So let's say I'm looking for activity 009, and if you put 009 in the search, it will find it to you. The search is very dynamic. It really searches well, and you can really find a lot of information like that. You can also see this little 2023 on the screen. This is telling me this activity is relevant to my 2023 procurement plan, but we will get to that later. But it's just to understand that you can see the amount. You can see the description of the activity, when it's supposed to start, when it's supposed to end, where it is right now, the amount in euro, in local currency, and then the status of the activity. It's being implemented. This is a goods activity. This is for international competitive bidding. It has 3 lots. We will cover lots in detail. We have a pre-qualification. This activity is, we will pre-qualify. Whereas it's for a single envelope, and it's subject to IFAD prior review. So I think it's just to give you understanding, this is the we call this the cards view. So views are here. So we mean how you're going to view your different activities. We also have a table view, which is very similar to what we had in the old Excel procurement plan. So you can see the activity reference number, the title, the method, the estimated amount, and you can see the different phases on the top, pre-qualification, bidding, and the different steps with the different dates. So this is all we have already now. When these steps are planned for. And you can see that in the table view, it's very similar to that. We also have a very, I think, I've received a lot of feedback on it, on the Gantt chart view, which it's really helping to get an overview of your activities, where they are, how they're planned in the year. The color coding, green means it's approved, so it's just been approved, it's not yet being implemented. Black means it's complete, so you've awarded, signed a contract. Blue, it means you're implementing, and there are other colors that we will see as we move forward. To download a plan, you can always just click on download, and this will generate an Excel template that it's available for you. My recommendation is really to use the system rather than using the Excel data, but it's there for you, available in case you need to go you know, you need to take it somewhere. But my recommendation is, you know, the system is developed for you to use it as a, you know, because the data is live and you know, it gives you a more accurate picture. An Excel file, it really gets updated immediately, outdated immediately. So, but it's available for you. You can download it. You can download it there, but by clicking on download. Okay, I will go back to plan, and I wanna also focus on the amounts that we have. So this is showing you the current amount of planned activities. These are all in this screen. You will find all your activities. Over the years of the project implementation, you will find all the procurement activities, and by 23, 24, they will just be you know, as you complete them, as you sign them, they will all be here. But let's say you want to see your 2023 procurement plan. This is where you go to see your 2023 plan. You click on all activities, and you click on 2023. But over the years, you will have 24, 25. And the system will group for you all the activities that were in your 2023 plan. So we're still in 2023. The plan was approved. We have 10 activities. One is implementing. And you see, you have them all available here. So we will during the training, we will also create a 2024 plan. Since we're at the year end, and a lot of you will have to do this very soon, start planning your new plan for the new fiscal year. I think it's going to be an important aspect that we will do later. But now I just wanted to focus on just clarifying this. I want to repeat this. So if you're looking for your 2023 procurement plan, you go under all activities, which is what you're seeing here. These are all the project activities. But you want to go to see your 2023 plan, you click on 2023. And you can see it right here. Okay, so now let me just go back to the main page, and let me create a new activity. And I want to upgrade my 2023 plan. I need to add one new activity. I'm going to do new activity. Click on it, and this takes me to the page where I'm creating a new activity. So first of all, you have category, and from the drop down, you will select what procurement category it is. So I'm going to go for works, or let me do goods. I'll do goods. Then I'm going to put the estimated value. So I'm going to put $15,000. And by putting the amount, one important aspect of the system, which I think it's a significant benefit, is how the system proposes to me what methods are available to me by default and what methods are available to me by providing a justification. So this is the flexibility of open, that first of all, it's telling you what methods you can use. But also, we're not restricting, you know, in case in a specific circumstance, you have to go with a less competitive procurement method. The system allows you to do that, but with the appropriate checks, because it also asks you to provide a justification. So I'm just going to do and I want to show you how also I want to. So this was when I was preparing this activity. I'm preparing it for $15,000. Let's say this was a $500,000 activity, just to say an example, just to show you this. So $500,000, if I now go on my methods, you can see that now I only have ICB available to me, because the value has gone, the estimated value has increased significantly, and the system is validating against the thresholds, and it's telling me that for this amount, I only have available ICB. So this is, I think, one important benefit, and it's important to understand this, that you can really go with whatever the system is allowing you to do. And you also have the flexibility to go with that, with the less competitive method. Just to show you this again, I'm just going to put 15,000 again, and you can see that now the system does another check. And now, again, I have all these different, I have shopping, national shopping, NCB, So I'm going to just do, I'm going to go for, let's say a little bit of a higher value. And then I'm going to do an ICB. Now I have to select contractual arrangements from the dropdown. So this is going to be a supplier contract. Now I have checkbox in case I'm going to apply domestic preference, which in this case I will not. I'm going to go for pre-qualification, and single envelope. Then I'm going to write, so I'm going to give an activity, the description here. I'm going to say laptops, printers, and scanners and monitors for PMU office. Here I'm going to write a more detailed description. I'm going to write 10 laptops, 10 printers, 5 scanners, 10 monitors. And then I'm going to put my AWPB reference. I'm going to put tags. Tags are something that are not a mandatory field, because mandatory fields, as you know, are all the fields that are in red. So you can see that if they're in red, they're mandatory. If they're not, I don't have to necessarily use them. But tags are something very handy. So maybe because then I can search for them in the future. So maybe I can put laptops, I can put monitors, and maybe I can put another keyword like equipment. This will help facilitate me searching for this activity. I know from some projects that have worked in many different provinces, for example, when they're doing activities that are going to be for specific provinces, they put the name of that province. So then they can search that activity for each of the all the activities in a specific province. Project area, I'm going to put Central PMU office. And then I'm going to move to the sources of financing. I'm going to move to the source of financing. I'm going to put, this is going to be coming 100% from the IFAD loan. Okay, so I can save. Anyway, I can always, and the system has created for me a draft procurement activity. And I have all the key data here. It's telling me it's draft, the category, what method it is, and the value. But very important, it's already telling me this is going to be subject to IFAD prior review. So again, another important benefit of Open is that the system tells you exactly what's subject to IFAD prior review and to IFAD post review. Now we also have all the other information. You can always go back if there's something that I think it's going to be 52,000. You can make corrections. You can maybe you want to add another. You can change a mistake on the reference number, and you can always while the activity is in draft, you can basically make any changes to it and no problems to it to make any difference any changes. Now, other actions you can do. Let's say this activity, I no longer need it because it's still in draft mode. I can simply delete it and it will completely delete it for me. Now I'm going to move to the planning of dates, because if I go to my issues tab, it's telling me no planned dates are there because I'm not putting any planned dates for this activity. So the system really supports planning and procurement planning in a way that it's done in the most realistic manner. And I think it's important to stress the planning is as good as, you really should take time to think, especially when you're creating your activities, how this is going to happen. Is this activity going to be linked to another activity? Am I planning to, do I need these goods by a certain date? So the system really helps you with that. So first of all, the planning strategy. Do I know when I want to start this activity? Or let's say I need these goods by a certain date, so I can plan backwards. But let's do this one as straightforward as possible. I'm just going to start from a date. So when I take the start date and I click on the calendar, you can see, first of all, you please note the 20 and the 21, the 2 days we inserted as a official or a holiday, the system won't allow us to start an activity on that day. The system in Cambodia, the work week is from Monday to Friday. So you will see that if you're that you cannot start an activity on a weekend. If your work week was maybe like in some of the in some other countries from Sunday to Thursday, you will see that reflected accordingly. But it's important that you understand that. So I need to start this activity as soon as possible. So I'm going to put it on the 15th, and I'm going to press save for the system to propose to me let's say a roadmap, the roadmap of the different steps. So you see here, since I selected there would be pre-qualification, the system has included pre-qualification, and all the different no objections are very clearly available to you here. You see the days that each step is going to take, and you can understand also by clicking on show estimated timelines, what is the minimum, what is the standard, and what is the maximum for each of these days. These steps are calculated by working days. So if this step is going to take 2 days and it's happening between a Friday and a Monday, it's going to not count the weekends. So it's also important. Certain steps are planned using calendar days, like the pre-qualification closing or the bid submission deadline and opening. These are calendar days. So this is important. What I want to stress on the planning, first, making it realistic. Second, the planning is a plan, but it's important at the beginning you plan in the most realistic manner possible, and also adjust the plan based to your local context, to what you know. All of you are very experienced procurement experts who know your regions very well, your countries very well, and this is where you need to take some time, and you can adjust the planning by clicking edit, and you can go through the different steps and add days. You can never go under the minimum, but you can always add days. I know, for example, the pre-qualification invitation, this is going to take me 4 days for some specific reasons, and then the system will replan the days. The submission of big documents, 10 working days. I think I'm going to need 15 based on what I know. And then to get to the evaluation report, this takes, for me, it will take me, it's a very complex evaluation. So I'm going to add 5 working days here. And you see, it's replanning for you the different dates up to the contract signature. So we're going to, this activity is going to be signed on the 16th of, it's planned to be signed on the 16th of July, 2024. I'm going to save this activity, again, my roadmap, the dates of it. And you see, I've adjusted the activities based on the adjusted timeline I developed. Two important things I want to show. First of all, the date. This activity, and please bear this in mind, will start. I'm planning for it to start on the 15th, 12th December 2023. This activity will be included in my 2023 procurement plan, even though it will spill over and it will get carried forwarded to 2024. But it's being included in my 2023 plan because the system automatically attributes activities based on the start date. So if the start date of an activity is in 2023, this is going to be, as we will see, it's going to be added to your 23 plan. Also, when you're replanning, you have other options here. You can link an activity to another one. You can restart the planning. I want to show you linking an activity. You can also you can link an activity by clicking on other actions, link to other activity, and the system will open to you this other screen, and it will ask you the activity to be linked to, and you will find all your activities in your plans available here. So you can connect this activity to another one. Maybe you have a works and you want to hire first the engineer before you hire do the procurement for the construction company. You can sequence that. It's very important in the planning. You consider all the different aspects. But just for this, you can select another activity that you want to link it. And then it tells you you can link it to a specific lot. because this activity I selected has lots. So let me select another one that doesn't have lots, so it's not showing me the lots. And it's asking me at what step. You can choose at what, so I want this activity to start when this other activity gets signed. So you really can do, you can really help you plan this effectively. And you can put some buffer days. You can say after the contract signature, I'll add a 10 working day buffer just as a safety. And this links two activities for you in your plan. So it even tells you that this activity is linked to another activity in your procurement plan. So linking is a really important aspect of planning. The system is there to facilitate your planning, but it's important you think about these things, take some time as a team in your planning phases and connect that. Okay, I just wanted to touch on this linking of activity because I thought it was very important. So now this activity is still in draft status. So I'm going to go back to the project plan here. And you see, now you can see two things. The activity we created in draft in gray. You see it also mentioned here. You see the value of it. But you can see that it's in my 2024 plan. So this activity, I'm going to check on the dates. Because I linked the activity to to an existing activity, the system has readjusted the planning, making this an activity for 2024. So this is how the planning actually is dynamic, and the system helps you make sure activities are sequenced correctly. But in case you don't want this link, you can unlink the link we created. I'm going to show you how to unlink this activity. You just go to other actions, unlink, and this will break the link between the two activities. And I want to start this activity in 2023, so we can add it to our plan. And you see, I will replan it. I'll save. And now I will go back to my plan. And you will see that now this activity is on for my 2023 plan. So now I have this draft activity. You can see that this $52,000 activity is also, you can see it here between the difference between what is the current amount of the plan, 597, and 545 was what was approved in the past previously. Now, I need to, since I'm adding a new activity, I'm upgrading my 2023 plan, I need to submit this procurement plan, my 2023 plan to IFAD. And you can see a 1 popped up here. It's telling me that there is an action for me here on my, you see the check mark in orange, in my 2023 plan. You can see that I have a draft activity that is ready. My plan had been previously approved. So you can see it was approved previously. And you can see, because I'm already implementing the activities, but in order for me to get the no objection for this added activity, I need to submit the procurement plan to the project director, so he or she can submit it to IFAD for no objection. So how do I start the workflow? I just press submit for clearance. So now the system is checking for errors if something is missing. And if you refresh, you can see now the 2023 procurement plan, the status has changed. It's waiting for project director clearance and is with the project director. And you can see that the new activity went from draft to submitted for clearance. One important thing to note is activities that had received IFAD no objection previously, I can continue implementing them. But this one that is waiting for IFAD no objection, I cannot start implement this one until I receive IFAD no objection. But this doesn't impede me from continuing and implementing activities that I had already received a no objection for. Okay. Now I will log out and log in as the project project director, coordinator, so you can see what they receive and how they can review and submit for IFAD. Okay. So you can see as the project director, I will receive an email, but I will also receive a task in the system. So I can go and perform the task by clicking on it. And you can see it takes me straight to what I have to review and approve. So it's very clear. It's 2023 procurement plan, one submitted for clearance. It's this activity. These ones I had already submitted to IFAD and received no objection. So it's very clear, nothing has changed from these other activities. So nothing, because if something changes, it'd be immediately visible to me as the project director or coordinator. So I have this activity, I can review it. I can see what is it about. I can see what's the dates. So I'm reviewing it. I can basically say I'm okay with it. I can send it back. I have two options as the project director. I can request for more information, sending the plan back to my procurement specialist, or submit for IFAD no objection. In this case, I'm going to submit this for IFAD no objection to see what IFAD says. So I'm going to go submit for no objection. It opens my submit for no objection. So this is the message that the IFAD country director will receive. So I'm going to say, dear country director, submitting upgrade to 2023 PROC plan. Put a nice message. And by pressing continue, this message will be submitted to IFAD. And as you can see, now the status of the plan is IFAD reviewing. You will also see that now we've enhanced a little bit the way comments work in the system. And you can see that my message to the country director is visible here. This is a general comment to the 2023 plan. You see how it's highlighted here. This is a general comment. And you can see my messages here. This is what IFAD will view. And you can see that the status of the plan has changed. The amount, we have the current amount of my 2023 plan. We have the submitted amount. And this is what I was previously approved. You can see it in dollars and local currency. Okay. We can... I want to show you, while we wait for IFAD review and any feedback they might have, let me show you the history tab. So the submission and everything that happens at the procurement plan level, you can view it by being in your 2023 plan. You can click on history and you can see what has happened in this procurement plan that had received IFAD no objection. And then a new document was uploaded, and now I just submitted right now this upgrade. So the procurement specialist submitted for clearance. But the history tab, just I want to stress that everything is available under the history of the plan, and you can see the date, you can see what time things were done, because then we will see how Time Machine helps us to do this. Okay, I'm just going to go back to my notifications. I will refresh. And you can see IFAD has requested more information. This means I have received an email. I have received you can see under the plan that the plan has been returned to IFAD. By IFAD, and it's back with the procurement specialist. Because basically, IFAD, and I will log in as the procurement specialist, so you can see IFAD has requested either more. Let's see what IFAD has requested us. Let me just log in as IFAD. And I can see that I have a task, 2023 procurement plan. I've received an email, and I can see that I received 2 questions from the country director. So I was questioned, could you please confirm that this new activity has budget in the AWS kindly my comment on the procurement. Okay, so I can reply to the I can reply to the project to the country director, but not directly, but I can prepare a response. So I'm going to go reply. I'm going to click only. I'm going to mix because there's an audience for the comment. So I don't want this message to be sent directly to the country director. I'll prepare it for the project coordinator to send to the country director. So I will put PMU. So this message that I'm typing right now is only visible to the project. I'm going to say, and then I'm going to tick this other box. Prepare this message to be forwarded. So I can say, dear IFAD country director, we confirm this new activity has allocated budget available in 2023 AWPB, and I'll put maybe reference. And I can just edit here, budget, typo. By pressing save, I've prepared a message that when I will resubmit the plan, for clearance to the project director, and the project director approves submits the plan to IFAD, this message will be basically routed to the IFAD country director. So, okay, so the message is there, and I need to restart the workflow because it was returned from IFAD when a plan or an activity IFAD requests more information. It always goes back to the procurement specialist so they can make the necessary changes, adjustments, and resubmit to in this case, since it's a procurement plan, we have to go through the project coordinator director. Because as I said earlier, only the project director coordinator can submit procurement plans to IFAD. All the other no objections are done directly by the procurement specialist. So I will submit for clearance. As I will write a message, dear project director, I have responded. I have drafted a response in the messages for your consideration to be submitted to IFAD with the upgraded procurement plan. Okay, so I put a message that explains what I did. And now the workflow of the plan is restarting and going back to the project director. But you can see here, if I expand on the comments, you can see the different messages that are building here. But some of them, of course, are locked. You see, if I hover around the lock, it says only visible to PMU because I prepared that comment to be an internal comment. And since I have to go through the project coordinator, I'm preparing it for it to be forwarded, which we will see right now. Okay, I'm going to log out and I'm going to log back in as the project coordinator. So bear with me 1 second. Okay, so I received a task notification. I will receive also an email, and you can see I need to understand. Okay, okay, so okay, I see that this comment is there. I think that has been responded, so I'm going to resubmit to IFAD for no objection. So I will click on submit for IFAD no objection, and you can see the comment that my procurement specialist has prepared for me. It's here. Okay, and maybe I want to add a little bit more to what's being said. I can press edit, and I also want to add more information to provide clarity. Okay, so if I have, okay, so the message is there on the response to that, and I can write even another general message here. I can write dear country director, please see our response to your comment. Thank you, project. You see, my response. Okay, so by pressing, so I've saved the comment here, so it's okay. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with everything. I'm going to press continue, and by pressing continue, I'm submitting this to IFAD. So it gives me a message saying no objection request submitted successfully. And I think one important thing I want to show is that you can see basically the history, and IFAD will receive the comment that was prepared by my specialist. It will be sent as if coming from the project coordinator director. So who is submitting to IFAD is who the other side sees as the person sending the message. Okay, so now the plan's been submitted. I will refresh, and beautiful, you will receive an email. There's a notification. IFAD has issued a no objection to this upgrade of the plan, and you can see that I've also received a message saying thank you for the response. I will grant no objection to this important activity, and I'm looking forward to meeting you, the team, when I come on mission next month. You can see that now the activity has gone to approve. There's no more draft activities, but let's say I need, for our files, I need the no objection letter. I can click on documents, and I'll find that the no objection letter now has received another no objection. So the version 2 is available, and you can click on here and you can download it. You can also see the previous one. So all the no objection relevant to the procurement plan are just saved on the plan level to the relevant plan in PDF there. Okay, so going back, I will go back to the 2023 plan so we can cover this part. I wanted just to show again the history as well while I'm in the plan. So to see the plan of the history of this plan, you need to go under the procurement plan 2023 history, and you can see the latest no objection is recorded here. It was given 1 minute ago, and it also takes you straight to the plan in case you want to see it. So what was approved, and the history is really there to help you better understand what's going on, what has taken action. While the comments are available all here. In the future, we will also integrate all the comments in the history. This is not yet there, but all comments will be available in the history, so they're also clear on that. Since we've done the let's say the procurement plan workflow, and we've covered the how to create an activity, how to plan the dates, this aspect, I would like to do a few minutes of questions to give you an opportunity to ask questions specific, please, to the procurement plan, to what we've seen now, to the creating of an activity, dates, the submission workflow. More will come, but I think it's good we cover these basics now, so then later we don't go back. The floor is open for questions.
All right, Sir
Raise your
Sinai,
hand.
if I may, sorry.
Please raise your hand so we can also you can use the chat, and when you ask a question, please state your name and the project so I can okay, Tina from the Rapid project, I think Philippines.
All right. Thank you, Sinai, for the opportunity. Although I've already messaged this one to Johannes, but I just like to raise this on the floor. I just want to ask, for the purpose of reviewing the draft activities, is it possible to download only the draft activities using the download tab? Because I tried downloading. Actually, I tried downloading the activities, but it popped out. It showed all the activities, but without the label if it's already approved or if it's a draft.
Tina, thanks. This is a great question. We're working on improving the download to also include a summary page and also the status of each activity. So we're working on that enhancement. We received that feedback. It's in the pipeline. I think it's something that in the next weeks you will see there. And I think we're aware of that. for us, it's important. We were really focusing up to now on the actual functionalities, and now we're going to go into these details and enhance that part. But yes, I will let you know once this is released in production. I hope in the next couple of weeks.
That would be greatly appreciated, Sanay, because actually, to be honest, I'm having a hard time now reviewing around 700 draft contracts, draft activities for 2023 before submitting that one to my project director. So I have to do it one by one on the system. So thank you, Sanay.
Okay, thank you, Tina. We will address it. Thank you for that, for raising that. Riyad Hassan?
Much for giving me an opportunity to have some issues. Basically, my point is, whenever for example, there is scope of revising plan in every quarter in a financial or calendar year. But in the case when in the first quarter of the year, I included one plan for the packages for any activities, but in the first quarter I could not start the task for any reason. So in that case, there is any option can be created so that though the activity is approved, we can edit those approved activity so that we can move forward to the next quarter, new revised plan for this particular activity that could not be made possible in previous quarter.
Thank you, Riyad. Just for me to be clear that I understood your question. You're asking me if there is an approved activity that was planned to start on the 2nd of January, let's say, and then for one reason or another, it's delayed to, it's no longer starting in January, it's moved to June. Are you asking me how to replan that date?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I will show you that. We will cover the replanning. So we will show you. Okay.
So much for it. One more question. That is, in our country like Bangladesh, we need to approve all the documents after having no objection from IFAD to our competent authority. For the purpose, we need to submit the file. So in the file, we need to prepare the document in printable format. However, we found in my last quarter that the volume of data is so long that it cannot be covered in printable area or printable format. So, for example, in your previous IFAD's guided procurement plan template in Excel, we have covered everything. But whenever we go for open system in download version, the plan is so long that it would be challenging for us to cover in printable pages or format. Do you have any plan to adjust or make those plan printable format?
So Riyad, your challenge is that the download of the Excel and Open is too big? Is that the
Yes, too big as per in format.
But it's very similar though to the existing the old Excel template. That's a bit. We're really.
Okay, but
the Excel is sorry. Yeah, I'm answering. The Excel template is very mirroring the existing. The download open version of the Excel is actually mirroring the same template. So I struggle to see how it can be larger if it's the same. So
okay, but can we use the previous approved format of IFAD for Excel?
Well, no,
we used to before approving Open.
No, we're moving to a system base. So the download is a extract of what is in the system. I mean, the old, I mean, if you don't have it in the system, how can you know if that data is actually correct? But since it's coming from the system, it's an aspect of the data which is handed in the system while the Excel is offline. So maybe Riyad, we can have this conversation offline. I will reach out to you through Shankar, and you can explain in better detail what is the actual challenge so we can find a solution to it. But I can confirm to you that the Excel is the download is the same dimensions of the previous Excel format.
Hello, Senai. This is Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
How are you? Good?
I'm very good. It's good to hear from you, really.
You know, I had the same question as our colleague, and I found it apparently there is already a report in Open which you can generate, and it gives you the same template of the Excel. So it's there. It is. But I'm still, I found it once. I'm looking for it again. But he can download from the system an Excel sheet, like an Excel sheet, a report, the same as the Excel template, and it has all the details.
Exactly. I will show it, Natalie. I will cover it. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is the question. They want to see the same Excel template.
We have it. It's there. Maybe it's because
I know. I saw it once.
I will show it. I need to. I understand. Okay, perfect. We will cover it. Thanks, Natalie. Riyad, we will address that, so you will see. And I think I will get back to you on that. Zadi, Alijar, one question each, and then we move forward.
Thanks for opportunity. I have a question. I am from SSCP, Ministry of Agriculture. We create threshold or IFAD only. We didn't create threshold of the priority view or post review option.
The thresholds are communicated to you by the country director in the project procurement arrangement letter. The thresholds are managed and inserted by IFAD. So what thresholds you find in the system, you can be rest assured they are correct, and they are exactly the ones that were communicated to you through the project procurement arrangements. So the thresholds in the system are just view only for you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And over.
Okay. Zahabi?
Hello. Are you hearing me?
I can hear you. Good to hear from you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. My question is almost at the same like Riyad Hassan. As you know that we have planned for something after approval from the IFAD. Maybe it will take some time to start the procurement process. But I have already I have already got the approval in the approval timeline. But if I would start after a while, after some days, the total activities. What will I do? This is my first question. And the second question is about the Excel file that which I usually we downloaded the Excel file, the IPP file. But the file is not very straightforward. As you know, this we cannot even edit anything to the file. Like this, the whole amount. If you want to, make the total of the whole amount, we cannot do that. So we cannot edit anything in the file. So this thing is, I think this is a problem. That if we can edit these things, or suddenly we have to go to the project data. That these are my procurement plan, which we have already uploaded to IFAD. But I cannot do these things because the setup of the Excel file is not straightforward like as we usually do in the Excel system. So is there any kind of that how can we get rid of these things?
Thank you for your questions. On the replan, we will show you this. We're going to cover that in detail. You will see how to adjust your planning and keep that information up to date. But what's important, one thing you said, Zadi, which is for me is very important, is make changes. The Excel is just a print screen of that moment and that instant of what is in your system. What's in the system matters. You need to make any change, you have to do it in the system. And the Excel is just to show in case you need it, but you should be really referring to the system. Like I said, we're improving the Excel, but the current version really mirrors what is the old Excel template. So I'm not sure what kind of changes you would like to make in the Excel, because if it's not in the system.
If I want to add the whole amount, in the total amount, that these are my procurement.
So the Excel template is not allowing you to edit that. Okay, Okay, I've taken note of this, and I will check with the developers why the Excel, because there might be also an issue with the versioning of the Excel, like what version of the Excel this is. So, but I've taken note of it, and then I will I will get back to you. But I think it's important to one clear message is you want to make a change on your plan, on an activity. It has to be baked in the system, and then the Excel is just to facilitate. I think we really need to shift towards using the system as our as our plan, but I also understand it's helpful to work with Excel files in case you're
Very
going
helpful.
to
It will be very helpful.
Yeah, but we have it on the we have it on our radar. But thank you, and the replan we will cover it. Okay, we're going to take 2 more questions, and then I'm going to ask colleagues to ask their questions on the chat. I see G Kagange and Boaz, and then we need to we need to move forward. Please.
Hello. So hi, Kanai. This is Grace. Grace from Malawi.
Hi, Grace.
From farms in Malawi. Yeah. A couple of my colleagues here have touched on the topic of the Excel sheet. What I wanted to say was, as I was working on it some weeks ago, especially on the history part, I'm not quite getting everything that we've implemented. Like it's supposed to give us the like you showed us here, when we have implemented something, when we go on history, it's supposed to give us the actual and the planned, the date, the status as well is that where the contract was signed and all that. Or it gives me, it's just the actual activity and it doesn't give me the rest of the details. I'm not quite sure if it's just my system or maybe cutting across to everyone else.
Grace,
So
I had some, sorry to, I'm having some trouble hearing from you, hearing your voice is a bit distant, but from what I understood, you're asking me a question on the planned, revised and actual dates of an activity. Is that correct?
Exactly. As when I go on history to check everything that's been implemented from start to finish, even those that have been completed, it doesn't give me all the details. It just gives me like the first part, like just the activities.
Okay.
The rest of the day,
we will cover that, Grace. We will cover it. I will show you. We will cover this. As part of the replanning, we will cover that. We will go over that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Last question, Boaz, and then we really need to go ahead. But the chat is always available for people to ask questions. Boaz, please. Boaz, are you there?
Please.
I cannot hear you, Boaz.
You can, for example, in 2020, the mid of 2023, I plan for 2024. And if I should do that, would the country manager sees it on his dash or her dashboard?
Boaz, we are going to now plan. We will show you later how 2023 carry forward, creating a new procurement plan. We're going to cover that specifically. I think a lot of these questions we're going to get there. I could not hear you. I hope that is your question, how to plan an activity for the next year. Okay.
No, what I'm saying is, if I should ahead, will the country director sees it? Because I plan 2 years ahead. For example, 2023 and 2024 and submit it together.
Yes. Yeah, you can plan ahead. You can create an activity for 2025 and absolutely. But of course, if you're going to plan an activity for 2024 in mid of 2023, the question I would ask has your annual work plan and budget been approved for 2024? But yes, you can definitely prepare an activity and a plan for the upcoming year. You don't have to wait. It's actually really important you plan ahead and you see how that is going to feed over time. But this is like I showed, the start date of an activity will attribute that activity to a specific fiscal year based on the start date of the activity. We will cover then the carry forward. Okay. I'm going to cover I want to show to cover since I saw a lot of questions revolving the planning, replan. Let me just 1 second show this this aspect, and then okay. So we are logged in. Let me see, as we were logged in. Now I'm going to log in as the procurement specialist, and I want to show. I want to show you. Okay, so if I go to my plan, and I will go to the activity we had prepared together, 52,000. It's was supposed to start on the 15th of December, but I realized that on the 15th of December, so now, first of all, if I go under dates, first of all, you will see now we have the original plan date. We have, so this can never be changed. This is the one we did at the beginning. This is the plan date. This is now our dynamic change. This is where we can replan the activities and adjust the dates. So we can always edit that. So we can press edit, and you see I can move the activity to another start date, and the system will replan that for me. And it will and it will replan all the subsequent plan dates accordingly. So if you press save, this is how you keep your activities up to date. We will see also, as you're implementing the activities, you can constantly replan. It's important to keep this information up to date, because then you can provide that information also, so everyone is aware of how you're progressing or when you're planning. If plans change, the system is very dynamic. The original plan date will never change. This will always tell us this activity was supposed to start on the 15th of December, but now for one reason or the other, I am adjusting that. For that, I don't need to request no objection, no approval. This is for you to keep this information up to date and according to the timelines. So I think that should address some of the questions Zahid had, and also related to that. I would like to show, since there's a couple of questions on the Excel download. If I go to the plan, I want to download I go to my 2023 plan, and I want to download it. If I press download, please let me know if you can see the Excel once it opens. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it tonight.
Okay, so you see you have all the different tabs for goods, and you can find all the activities, the title, the method, the amount, the currencies, and the different steps. So we are planning very shortly to enhance this by adding a summary page like we had in the old Excel offline template, and also add the different statuses, so you can then filter and adjust, and this should also address the question from I think it was Tina from the Rapid project. So this is coming, but the download is available, and I please rest assured it's the same size as the existing template. So it's not bigger, it's not different, to address the question from the project, from the colleagues from the project in Bangladesh, I think. Okay. We now are going to pass to a new segment. I'm going to hand over to Alessandro Neroi, and we're going to move to implementation of activities and to the next segment. Alessandro, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senai, and good morning or good afternoon again, colleagues. As Senai anticipated, I'm going to take over now when it comes to the implementation of activities. So I would like to then share my screen first so that we can just start with this. Okay. Okay, I should be sharing my screen. Please, Senai, could you please confirm that you can see it?
Yes, we can, Alessandro.
All right,
yes.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so for implementation of activities, until now, Senai showed you the process to receive an objection on the procurement plan. We now have our procurement plan. As you can see, we have 7 approved activities that are identified by a green color, 3 activities that have been completed, which are identified by this black color, and then 1 activity that is now under implementation, that is this blue one. So there is only 1 that's being implemented. So I think it's useful to also know before I start with the implementation that colors help you to understand the status of the activities and also then the state of implementation of your procurement plan. So what we want to do now is to implement an activity. That means that I will take an activity that has been approved, so an activity that has received an objection from IFAD, and I will start with the implementation of the same. So let me choose an activity. I want to choose perhaps an activity for goods, this one right here. I'll open the activity here. Before I start it though, before I start with the implementation, I think it'll be useful if we take a look at 2 fundamental also functions that you will probably encounter. First is how to amend an activity and then how to cancel an activity. So even before we start implementation, we can amend, for example, this activity. As I said, this is an activity that has received if an objection and is now in an approved state. So when an activity is in an approved state or implementing already, I can always amend it as I need it. So I will click on edit here. And as you can see here, there are a few aspects of this activity that I can amend on my own. For example, I can add an activity description. This is the supply of roof material. I could specify that I want corrugated metal roofing and paneling, anything in the description that you may want. I can change the annual plan and budget reference number. I can add tags, I can add a project area, change the sources of financing. Maybe there are changes in the annual work plan and budget that you want to reflect here. But I think what's important is the fact that I can change the estimated amount. And if I change the estimated amount, then I will have to resubmit the procurement plan for no objection. Just like it was happening before with the Excel file, you would change the amount manually in the Excel and then you would send it for if and no objection. Now this is done automatically by the system, so it's quite an improvement. So let's say for this activity, you realize that $25 is just not enough for the materials. And so you've done your changes in the annual plan and budget already, and you want therefore to increase the value of this activity to 70,000, let's say. Having done so, the system warns you to confirm your choice. It warns you that if you're making this change, you will then require a new no objection to the procurement plan. And this is very important, for it will not be sufficient to just amend the activity. You also have to submit the procurement plan. So here we just have to acknowledge this warning message. We will click on save.
Transition.
Okay, so the activity has been successfully updated. Notice how the color of the activity and the status changed from an activity that was green, that was approved, to an activity that is now amended, means an activity that requires another no objection. So we will go back to our activities. And specifically, we will use this tab here to select the 2023 procurement plan. And as you can see now, we are able once again to, as you can see, it's marked orange, is in an amended state because we've increased the value. Also, this can help you, for example, up here. This will show you the current amount of the procurement plan, meaning the current approved amount. Sorry, the one below will show you the approved amount. So that's the latest amount of the procurement plan that received an objection. And now this will show you on top instead the current amount. As you can see, we've added more funds to the total amount of the procurement plan, and therefore we require an objection. So similarly to before, I'm going to submit as procurement specialist the procurement plan for the clearance of my project director. I will now log in as the project director very quickly so that I can submit the procurement plan for if and no objection once again. Okay, so as the project director, just like before, I have my task to clear the procurement plan. So I click on perform task and I see that there is an activity that changed amount here. So what I can do is simply submit for no objection and tell IFAD, the IFAD country director, warn them of what has happened. Here, IFAD country director, please note that we had to increase the budget for the 2 sheets activity. I will click then on continue. And now the activity has been submitted for IFAD no objection, so we can wait for IFAD to provide no objection to this change. So I just want to stress out, because we receive some feedback sometimes of colleagues that have amended an activity, perhaps changed the amount, but then they forgot to submit the procurement plan again for the no objection of IFAD, and so they were waiting and they lost time, because basically IFAD is not aware of this change until they receive a new request for no objection. Okay, so now we'll refresh the page to see if IFAD has provided an objection. Perfect. I see that the procurement plan of 2023 is now approved. And that activity, as you can see, went from orange to green. So now we have an approved activity with the revised amount. So the second thing I want to show you before starting implementing is we'll click on the same activity. And let's say that, to our surprise, we no longer need to redo the roof of the PMU office, because the roof of the PMU office is perfectly fine. So in that case, we want to cancel this activity from the procurement plan. And how do we do that? We will click on Edit again. And do you see this red tab here? It's in red because cancellation of an activity is something that cannot be undone. If you cancel an activity and then you want to reinstate that activity, you'll just have to create a new one. So we will click on Request Cancellation of the activity. The system gives us the same warning as before, that canceling the activity requires a no objection to the procurement plan. So we acknowledge and we click on Save. Okay, so now as you can see, the activity has a cancel request. It has gone back to its orange state, amended. And if we go back to our list of our activities, you'll see that the activity is a cancel request. When an activity is a cancel request, there is no way for us to implement the activity because we submitted it for cancel. So we have to wait for IFAD action in this case. Again, we'll click on the 2023 procurement plan. And we will submit the procurement plan for clearance to our project director. Okay, so now I will log in once again as our project director. I see that I have to clear the procurement plan. So I click on my task. I see that this activity has a cancel request, and I submit for no objection of IFAD. I'll put my message for the country director, dear IFAD country director. The PMU roof seems fine, so we no longer need roof sheets. Please accept the cancellation of this activity. Okay, I will click on continue, and this will send the procurement plan once again to IFAD for no objection. So we'll wait for IFAD to provide that. Meanwhile, let me remark that if you've sent a cancel request for the activity, that means that you will not be able to implement the same until IFAD has acknowledged the cancel request. It's an action, as I said, that cannot be undone. Not to worry. If you made a mistake, you simply replan that activity, but you have to replan it from the beginning with the plan timeline and everything. Okay, so I'm going to refresh. And now what you will see is a change in status in this activity. Do you see now we have a red dot here? This identifies that we have a canceled activity because IFAD has provided a no objection, and here it is. So canceled activities will not disappear. Simply, they will not factor in, of course, with their amount to the procurement plan amount, but they'll always be accessible as a repository. So you can also access perhaps any document that was uploaded in it and so on. Okay. So having said that, let's move then to the implementation of an activity. Let's implement an activity for goods. I'm going to use my filters here to help me navigate the activities that we have. Okay. We have this one here, for example, this laptop printers and scanners. I'm going to click on it. To start an activity, what you want to do to start the implementation, you want, first of all, sorry, let me log out. Let me log back in as the procurement specialist, because it's the procurement specialist that implements an activity. I was still logged in as the project director. Just a second. Okay, perfect. So let me just go back to the procurement plan and look back at my activity that I want to implement. Let's take activity number 4, this supply of vehicles here. Okay, I will click on it. As I said, I will do dates. And under dates, where you can see the whole plan timeline here, you can click on start implementation. The system warns you, are you sure you want to start the implementation? We'll click on OK. And now we are taken to the what we call the data sheet. So here is where the implementation of the activity and the request for IFAD's no objections when they're needed take place. Please keep in mind this activity that I'm doing now is subject to IFAD prior review. And in fact, if we go under details, you can see here that the activity has been assigned to prior review because of its estimated amount. So this also tells you, if we go under implementation again, do you see this hexagon, this black hexagon with the check mark? That identifies steps in the procurement workflow that are subject to IFAD no objection. So for this activity, the submission of pre-qualification documents is subject to IFAD no objection. The following no objection will be for the submission of the pre-qualification report, then the submission of bidding documents, the submission of an evaluation report, of course, and therefore the recommendation to award. And then finally, it'll be the submission of draft contract and minutes of discussions. So this is prior review, as I said. After me, our colleague Saad will instead do the implementation of a post-review activities. So he will show you that the implementation of a post-review activity is much leaner. There's less documents being requested by the system, of course. But for this prior review activity, as you can see, the system will guide you in each step for which documents need to be uploaded. So to start, since we have an activity that has a pre-qualification stage, we will have to upload, first of all, the formal procurement requisition. This is the document that you receive from usually the user department that has initiated this procurement. Usually they're the same guys that provided you with the technical specification document. So we will click on upload, browse files, and we will look in our computer for the formal procurement requisition. I'm just going to use template document here. Second, okay. And now I'll upload the file. Okay, so the file has been uploaded. Now, technical specifications documents, you will need technical specifications. In this case, specifically, we're procuring vehicles, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll click on upload, browse files. And once again, we will look for our technical specifications here. Okay, just using a sample document. Okay. Finally, the document that needs to receive no objection is, of course, the draft pre-qualification document. So we'll click on upload, browse files once again. And we can use our pre-qualification document. Okay, upload. Okay. So what I want to point out is already here, the use of the symbols for the documents. If you can see, I know maybe it's a bit small, maybe I can make it a bit bigger like this. If you can see this exclamation mark, this circle with an exclamation mark, this means documents that are mandatory. So if you don't upload one of these documents for IFAD's no objection, then the system will give you an error. So this is useful from your side because you will always know what are the documents that are required from IFAD in order to provide a no objection. In the past, we noticed we've had situations where perhaps maybe there was, you could forget a document. Let's say maybe you forget to upload the technical specifications, and then you will return the dossier to IFAD, and IFAD will remind you that you have to upload that. And so time is lost in the process. Here, instead, it's the system itself that guides you on what are the mandatory documents. As you will see later in the process, and especially in post-review, many documents instead are optional. If you have them, you upload them. If you don't have them, you don't upload them. They're not necessary. They're just, something added depending on your process or if you have them or not. Anyway, we have our documents here. There is a functionality, of course, for us to add comments. As you can see, when there is this symbol, it means we can add a comment. So this means we can also add comments that are specific per document that were uploaded. So for example, for the technical specifications documents, we may want to add a comment here saying a message that we can keep to our colleagues in the PMU, but prepare the message for being forwarded to IFAD. So then the project director then This can be forwarded to, this can be forwarded to IFAD once the activity is submitted for IFAD no objection, and not immediately. Instead, if I left the audience to everyone, the message will be immediately visible to IFAD. So it's up to you to decide when do you want this message to be seen by IFAD or not, whether immediately, or if I click on PMU and prepare message for forwarding, only when then you submit the activity for the no objection of IFAD. So here we can say something to the extent of the technical specifications were drafted by an expert, and we tried to keep them as generic as possible. Something like this. I will click on save. So your message is here. And as you can see, if I click on the message, it will highlight the document that it refers to, so that you'll always know, and especially for other people that will read your message, your comment will always know what it refers to. Okay, so we have our documents here. I think it's also important to mention that you can always delete a document now that you haven't submitted for no objection. Once you submit for no objection, you'll only be able to upload new versions of the document, because that's always possible, because in the no objection process, you may need to amend the document. Perhaps IFAD has some comments in that sense. But now that we haven't submitted the document for IFAD no objection, we can always delete this document. For example, we can edit its properties. For example, add the description saying formal procurement requisition. You can add a number depending on your needs. And as you can see here, the description of the document will appear below. Okay, so at this point, I would like to request for IFAD no objection. During the implementation of activities, the request for no objection goes directly from the procurement specialist to IFAD. So we will now request for no objection. The system will ask us to add a comment. So we can say here, IFAD country director, please provide no objection to the pre-qualification documents. As you can see here, since as audience I chose to prepare the comments for forward, the system reminds me that there are comments that I added that are still now only visible to the PMU. This is what this lock means, as you can see from the message on top. And I can edit this message if I want. But once I click continue, this message will be automatically then visible to IFAD. So this is an extra check that you can have for yourself also if you don't want to have comments that are immediately visible to IFAD, as I said. So if we are ready to submit the pre-qualification documents for no objection, we will click on continue. And now, as you will see, the request for no objection has been submitted successfully. So while we wait for IFAD to provide no objection to the pre-qualification documents, hopefully to provide no objection, but maybe they have comments, let's see. What I would like to point out is to reopen that comment from before. You see the comment from the terms of reference. See that the padlock is now missing. The lock here is not here anymore. That's because having submitted the pre-qualification documents for no objection, as I said, the comment is now visible to everyone, to IFAD and to the PMU. So let's just wait for IFAD. Meanwhile, yes. Okay, let's just wait for IFAD to provide no objection. As I said, this works. It's an enhanced system compared to this was with Notus, in the sense that comments are much smarter because you can have comments that relate directly to documents and such. And also the way we interact with IFAD is smarter when IFAD requests something for us. They will still be able to request for more information, but they can be much more targeted, as we will see. So let me refresh my activity here, and let's see if IFAD has hopefully provided. Okay, perfect. So IFAD has requested for more information. So let's see, we have some additional comments here. Okay, the IFAD country director tells us to see his comments. So let's open terms of reference. I see there is one more comment. See new version of documents with comments. Please address them and upload a new version. Okay. So as you can see here in the technical specifications documents, you see now it says one past version. So what does this mean? If I click on the document here, okay, we'll download it automatically. Okay, sorry about that. So IFAD, just like the country director has told me here, they have uploaded a new version of the document. So the version that I previously uploaded is the past version, and it's under here. And as you can see, the system already marks it as V1, so that you know exactly that this was the first version of the document, and that's been uploaded by you. So there is no risk for confusion, you as the procurement specialist. But the current version of the document instead shows up here, and it's the V2, and it's been uploaded directly by the IFAD country director. So what we will do as procurement specialist, we will click on the document, it will download on my computer. So I would open this version and check what exactly IFAD needs. I'm sure they left track changes, they left comments. And so once I will download the document, I will address the track changes, any possible comment. And then what I would like to do is to upload a new version of the document. So the version where I've addressed IFAD's comments. So I'm going to do that. Okay, I will click on technical specifications. This is my version of the document now, and I will click on upload. Okay. Also keep in mind that I can always cancel, as I said, this document before submitting for no objection. So right now, this last version of the document, I didn't submit it for no objection yet. So as you can see, I can delete the last version. Let's say, you know, I forgot to address one comment. So I will click on delete last version and click OK. See how the system is flexible. And a simple action like this, we notice that obviously it's a system that is based on an old architecture, would have required you to send it then to IFAD and then IFAD to send the dossier back to you. So you see how we've made the system more flexible so that you can save time, especially. So right now we've canceled our version of the document. So we haven't addressed the new, we haven't submitted a new version yet. As you can see now, the last version is still the one that is being uploaded by the country director. So what happens if I request for no objection without uploading a document? Let's try that, because I'm curious to see what the system will do. Aha, see, there was an error while trying to proceed. So the system recognized that IFAD was the last one to upload a version of this document, and so that IFAD had comments on this document, and the system is preventing me to go ahead without uploading a new version of the technical specifications or terms of reference, whatever it is here. So this is another way that the system guides you so that you don't forget to do the tasks that you require, so that no objection can be provided faster. So we'll comply with this message, and we'll upload a new version now of the technical specifications. Okay. And I'll click on upload. Okay, the upload is done. I will now tell IFAD that we've addressed their comments. Dear IFAD country director, we have addressed your comments and uploaded a new version of the technical specifications. So I will click on save. Okay, and if now we are ready, since we have our own version of the terms of reference here, we are ready to request for no objection again. Please provide no objection to the revised documentation. Thank you. This is my message to the IFAD country director. I will click on continue, and hopefully the system will now allow us to continue. And in fact, it did. So the no objection is being requested successfully. So let's wait for IFAD. But let's say that before IFAD provides an objection, it's possible that I realize that I made a mistake. The version that I've uploaded is an old one. So what can I do? Well, there is a function here that is called recall no objection. But I will show you this in a second, because I think IFAD has provided no objection meanwhile. What I want to show you is that you have the possibility to recall a no objection before IFAD provides the same. We'll do that at the next step, because I think IFAD has already provided no objection. They're very fast today. I'm glad to see that. So we're not wasting time. Okay. So as you can see here, we have a new tab that has appeared called no objection. And so if I click on it, I can open the no objection. Similar to what Senai has showed us when it comes to the procurement plan. As you can see, the no objection is automatically generated. It will have the name of the activity. It will have the unique activity identifier up here. and it will say what the no objection is to. So it's to that specific step. In this case, we received IFAD no objection to the submission of pre-qualification documents. So here you will have the name of the country director and so on. So this is an objection that you can always download and print for your files if you like. Okay, so now this step technically is complete. We've done what we needed to do. But what I would like to show you here is that let's say that even before completing this step, you realize that something has changed. You realize that the technical specifications, let's say, I'm just using an example, that you've provided IFAD, that IFAD has provided no objection, are actually inadequate. The expert calls you and says, look, I needed to change them. So what can you do at this step? You can click on amend. So this will allow you to send a request to IFAD to reopen this step, to cancel the no objection, as it shows up here, and to reopen this step so that you can work on it again. So you could say, dear IFAD country director, sorry, but we have to update the technical specifications. We'll click on continue. And now this will send a direct request to the IFAD country director to allow you to redo this. So as you can see now, this is open now. You see the submission of pre-qualification documents, everything is open. We can once again work here. So let's say that we want to upload a new version, as I said, of the technical specifications. We can do that again. We'll click on Browse Files. And we'll click on Technical Specifications. It will upload version 4 of the technical specifications. Okay. So now, sorry, this counts as version 1 because the system counts it that you're uploading a different document. And rightfully so, because we had received no objection to the previous version. Okay, so we can make any change we want here. We can add comments and whatnot, just like before. We just reopened this step, even though we had received no objection. So now we can click on Request No Objection again and add a document. Dear IFAD, other comment, sorry. Country director, please provide no objection to the revised documentation. And we will click on Continue. Okay, now before IFAD provides no objection, I want to show you the functionality that I wanted to show you before, that is to recall no objection. So right now you're in a status where you've requested a no objection. Under normal circumstances, you would have to wait for IFAD to give the no objection, but you realize that once again, the technical specifications are not okay. So you can click on Recall No Objection and add a comment. Apologies, we need to amend the documentation once again. So see how you do not even have to wait for IFAD to provide no objection. You can just recall a no objection right away. So we'll click on Continue. And actually, okay, no objection recalled successfully. Perfect. So I will, once again, let me refresh the page. Okay, says here. I don't know, Senai, maybe from IFAD side, you have to do something. Maybe you have to acknowledge it, I think. Okay, perfect. So let me refresh the page. Perfect. Okay, so IFAD acknowledged my recall for no objection. And now, as you can see, I can request a no objection again. So this is, once again, the flexibility compared to the system before, where you would have had to IFAD to send it back to you, or worse, you would have had to open a new dossier in Notus to go ahead. So let me once again add a new version to the document, and then we'll request a no objection again. Okay, I've uploaded my document and I will request for no objection once again. Dear IFAD country director, this is the final version of the documentation. Please provide no objection. We will click on continue. Okay. And now we will wait for IFAD to provide a no objection again. In the meantime, I want to show you that the previous no objection you received will always be here. You see, you have version 1 of the no objection. And then once IFAD provides a no objection, you will see that you're going to have a version 2. appearing instead underneath. So you can always keep track of the no objections you received, and most importantly, on which no objection is actually the last one that you received. Okay. So let me just refresh. Okay, you see, now you have version 2. This is the latest version of the no objection, but if you click here on one pass version, you instead, you can access the previous version that you had received. Okay, I'm just going to complete this step. Here it allows you to insert a comment if you want on this step for your records or not. You can click on continue. Okay. And then this will move you to the second step of the activity. And at this point, I will stop here and give the floor back to Senai to announce a small break in our training. Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro. Colleagues, we will take a 5-minute break since we understand it's a long session. Please, just 5 minutes, and then we will resume. Have a glass of water, need to do what you do. Please come back here in exactly 5 minutes. Thank you, colleagues. And we will resume exactly at this time, at this spot. I hope you took advantage of these 5 minutes. We're going to resume with this where we left off. Alessandro?
Yes.
Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay. So what I want to do here is now show you the following stage on the implementation of this activity. As you remember, we've just received no objection for the pre-qualification documents. The following step is the invitation of pre-qualification for the pre-qualification. Of course, now you have your, your pre-qualification document. You will advertise that, and then you will receive then how they call expressions of interest. You will receive in any case the presentation of all these bidders that are interested in bidding. So at this point, I want to show you an important feature of the system, that is the so-called bidders list. So at this stage of pre-qualification invitation, as I said, you've received expressions of interest from different bidders. So you will insert, therefore, the bidders here. So you'll click on Go to Bids, as you can see here, and it will open the Bids tab. And here, you're going to insert the bidders. These bidders that you insert here, you will then keep for the following stages, and you'll be able to then select in the end who's the one that you've awarded the contract to and the related contract price. So let's add the bids. If I click on Add Bid, I actually have a choice to make. In fact, the system has a list of vendors that you can already access, as you can see here, and it's going to be an extensive list. So you can actually choose one of the vendors that is already here, and you can look for them, for example. For example, let's say I'm looking for a specific one. The system will filter and will give you exactly the one that you need. Or if you're adding a new vendor, if you can't find your vendor here, so we always invite you to look for the vendor so that we avoid double entries here, you can click on New Vendor. And so here you can add the new vendor. So you'll put the name of your company, of the vendor company, of course, the registry number into the national registry that I'm pretty sure is going to be a code. You will put the city where they are incorporated. And you put the country and select, of course, among the country. Rome is in Italy. Okay, and then here you can also put any address or where the company is incorporated, Mill Road, number 8. Okay, and if you click on Save, the vendor has now been added to the general vendor list. So to add it to your activity, you will simply click on Add. As you can see, the vendor has appeared here. We can therefore then continue and add more vendors. Now, for just the purpose of this exercise, we're just going to add them directly from the vendors list. So this is quite, it's quite a nice feature to have when you're going to eventually add more and more vendors And perhaps you're going to reuse the same vendors over and over again through the years, then you can already access them from this system here. Okay, so now that I've added my bid, I need to tell the system at this stage if they've submitted an expression of interest or not. That's why you have the little pencil here. Sorry, no, this is to amend the information. If I click on the pencil, I can, of course, amend the information here. Okay, so I'll click on save in case I wanted to change something. Okay, I think actually at this stage, this is all that I have to do. So I will go back on details in terms of vendors. So I'll go back on the data sheet here. Okay. Okay, so we've added the remove bidders. Of course. So as you can see, this was an optional measure here to add the remove bidders. In fact, I'm sure that you, as seasoned procurement specialists, you realize that a pre-qualification invitation, not necessarily at this stage, I will know who will be the bidders that will submit an expression of interest. In fact, I will know this at closing, and that's why at closing, you once again can set which one of those bidders submitted an expression of interest. But an invitation, instead, we have it as an optional. I could have, or maybe I also could not have added bidders. Let's say that you have bidders that have already expressed their interest when you shared the general procurement notice, the GPN of the project. You may already have bidders that were interested in this specific procurement, so you may want to advance yourself and already add the bidders here. But it will be at the next stage that the system will ask you to confirm whether these bidders have submitted an expression of interest or not. So let me show you that. So to complete this step, we have two documents. We have to send IFAD an advertisement for pre-qualification. So I click on upload. Okay. And I click upload. Okay, I will then submit the issue pre-qualification document. So this is the pre-qualification document that I already had received no objection. We just need to upload the version that we decided to publish. Sorry, this is my fault. It's because the template document I'm using is empty. So the system is also able to recognize when you're trying to upload a document that is completely empty and it's preventing me from uploading it. As you can see now, it shows a document that was 11 kilobytes, and so it was accepted by the system. Okay, so this step does not require IFAD no objection. As I said before, the hexagon tells you when it requires no objection, so I can simply click on complete, and I can choose a date. In this case, this is the date in which there was the pre-qualification invitation. So the name of the step will guide you on the actual date that you have to insert here. I can add a comment if I want, and then I can click on continue. This will take me directly to the following stage of the procurement process, which is the pre-qualification closing stage. So here, this is the step that refers to in procurement when now there's been the closing and you've received the expressions of interest. So now, if you've added bidders at the previous stage, and as I said, if, because it's an optional stage, you will now be able to tell the system whether those bidders have submitted their expression of interest or not. So let me just click on Go to Bids, where you will see the same bidders that we've added before. And as you can see here, I can choose to tell the system whether the specific bidder has submitted an expression of interest or not. Maybe the bidder was interested at the level of the general procurement notice, but didn't submit. And then I will click on No. These others instead, they've all submitted. So I'll click on Yes. Yes. I can also add additional bids. Let's say maybe we've opened expressions of interest, there is an additional one. I can add a bidder if I want. And then if I click on Save, the information is now saved. So this bidders list will be updated all the way to the end. And for the reasons of time, I can't do the entire implementation, but the workflow is very similar. Each step will just ask you different information to insert. And in the end, you will end up with the bidder that you've awarded your contract to, and then you'll be able to insert at the very final stage a contract price. So this will always remain for your reference. So let me go back to the data sheet. And I'm just going to complete this step, the pre-qualification closing step that we had. Oh, sorry, I have to put an actual date. So we'll put the exact date of the closing. as I said, the name of the step will guide you the date that you have to insert for the step, except for steps that require no objection. Those, it will be the date of the no objection. It's assigned automatically by the system. As you can see now, we move to the following step. In the following step, we can open our bidders list again. And this is the step where we've done our evaluation for the pre-qualification. So we have a pre-qualification report ready, and we have to tell the system which one of these bidders have passed pre-qualification. So just like before, we can click on yes, and we can perhaps exclude one. You see, Acme was excluded already before because it didn't submit an expression of interest. So slowly, you'll exclude all of them, and hopefully you get with, you'll end up with one that you award the contract to. So if I save, I go back to the data sheet. To conclude this part of the training, I just want to show you that, as you can see, green are the steps that we've completed, and orange is the ongoing one. Here, the system wants us to tell them the pre-qualification report date. So we can click on edit and say, we'll take the report and we read when it was signed, and that will be the pre-qualification report date that appears here. Then we'll upload the pre-qualification report. We'll request for no objection, and then we can go on. As you can see, every step is similar. The following one, submission of bid documents, the system will ask you to upload the draft bidding documents for IFAD no objection. The following step will be bid invitation. You'll have to put the deadline for receipt of clarifications that you'll find in the bidding documents, set which bidders were invited, upload the proof of invite, and so on, all the way until the end, until the contract signature stage. So before I hand over to Saad to show instead the implementation of a post-review activity. So remember, this is a prior review. So that's why you'll see that there's many documents that need to be uploaded. I want to show you the replan option that is here. So the replan option, if I click on it, it will automatically open the plan timeline. This is the plan timeline that you said at the beginning. You said the activity was to start on the 20th of September. Instead, as you can see here, now we have the actual date, and today is the 14th of December. So it looks like we started the activity a little bit late. So here you will always be able to see the difference between a planned date, an actual date, and an original date. Why is there a difference between original and planned? That's because planned dates, you can always replan them. That's why I clicked on replan before. As you can see, replan is only available from this stage. This is because the first 3 stages, we've done them together. They've completed, and I can no longer change this date because I would have to change them in the past. But instead, for the following activities, we can change our dates. So let's say for the submission of pre-qualification report, we realize that it will take a bit to complete the document because it's the holiday season, and therefore the evaluators are just not available. They're all enjoying some free time with their families, and perhaps I'll be able to submit the pre-qualification report only on the 1st of February. So I will click on February. I click on February 1st. And as you can see, the following dates, the following plan dates changed according to what I've changed here. I put 1st of February for the pre-qualification report, then submission of lead documents probably can only happen by the 26th. And you can change each single date, you can change the days. So this is the replan functionality. And if I click on save, now the plan dates have been saved. And now you'll see why there is a difference between original and planned. This is because if you change the dates, the planned date will follow your new dates, but the original date will stay as the first planned date that you've created, so that you can always have a point of reference of where the activity was originally created, planned for, how is it planned now, and then eventually, as you progress through implementation, you'll say when it was actually implemented. So this will help you also to understand for future activities how long it actually takes to plan and implement and finish an activity so that you can plan more effectively. Okay, so I am going to now stop sharing, and I'm going to hand over to our colleague Saad, who will instead show you, as I said, the implementation of a post-review activity. Saad, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you, everyone. So I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
We can, Saad.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So now we are in a post-review activity. As you can see, this is a $20,000 activity with a post-review goods ICB. So it's the same concept to implement a post-review activity. We just click on the activity code and then click on the date tab. And then we click on Start Implementation to start the implementation of this post-review activity. As you will see here, what's different from a prior review activity that you saw previously is that for post-review activities, some steps might be skipped, like the first one here for the submission of pre-qualification documents, which is a step that is really not happening because there is no submission of any document to IFAD since it is a post-review activity. We are, for example, here at pre-qualification invitation stage. You would see now that compared to a prior review activity, these documents are now optional. There is no need to upload those documents because these are optional. Also, we can start directly here by adding and removing bidder, which is optional as well, and update registry data. So I click on Go to Bids. I can add a bid at this stage. Let's say, for example, here I add one bidder from the existing vendor list. And we can continue and add other bidders at the coming stages. So we can directly click on complete. There is no request for no objection in those activity steps since it is a post-review activity. So the procurement specialist can directly click on complete to complete the activity steps of this activity. At pre-qualification closing, we can add more bidders by clicking on Go to Bids. And then we can fill here the related field, for example, EOI submitted. We need to fill the fields related to this bidders table as we go along. So we add another bidder, let's say. We can add another one too. And then we can fill the related field for whether a bidder has submitted an EOI or not. And we can save. Going back to the data sheet, we can continue by clicking on complete to move to the next step. And then we would reach at submission of pre-qualification report. So here as well, there is an action to be done at the bidders list. So while you can see this red bar next to the person sign here, it will always indicate that some action that is required to be done before we can proceed to the other step. This red bar will always guide the user on what is required to be filled. So we go to the bidders list by clicking on Go to Bids, and we should fill with yes or no whether a bidder has passed pre-qualification or not. Let's say 2 passed, 1 has not. So we click on yes, on save, and then we go to the datasheet tab. Also here, I would like to mention that at the pre-qualification closing stage, we can here upload, it's optional to upload for each of the bidder an expression of interest, but this is optional, of course. So we can choose to upload a document here, for example, by clicking on upload. This is specific for each bidder. And we can upload the document here. So, and as you can see, the increment, the number has incremented from 0 to 1 when a document is uploaded to a specific bidder. So by saving, we can go back to datasheet. And we can put another work products here, or other work products are required under this step. As you can see, with this calendar sign that we have here, this is related to a date field. So whenever we see a calendar sign without a check mark, this means that this is optional, and we can put a date like a pre-qualification report date here, for example. This is optional. So we would click on complete to complete this specific step. Now, as you can see, there is another skipped step that is submission of bid documents. There is no submission going on between the project and IFAD because this is a post-review activity. So the next step is the bid invitation stage. Let's assume here now, this was a post-review activity with a $20,000 amount. And then we decided that the amount of the activity needs to be changed. So we could click on edit in the details tab. And then let's say the amount of the activity increased from 20,000 to 60,000. Making this activity an amended activity, we would need to acknowledge this message here that the activity would change from the implementing status to amended status, and that a no objection would be required from IFAD to proceed with this activity. So I would click on acknowledge this message, and I would click on save. And as you will see here in the details tab, now the activity review type changed from post review to prior review. If I go to the implementation page, you will see now a message here that this activity is on hold pending IFAD no objection to the procurement plan. This means we need to submit this activity for IFAD no objection. Going to the procurement plan and selecting the 2023 procurement plan, I need to request no objection from IFAD in order to continue with the implementation of this activity. So I submit for clearance, and then as a project director, I will log in and submit for no objection to IFAD. Click on submit for no objection. And then once IFAD provides an objection, I will go log in as a procurement specialist and waiting for IFAD no objection. I would refresh the page. Just for that, IFAD can provide a no objection. Okay, so let's provide a no objection for this. Okay, so now IFAD has given a no objection on the activity, and we can go back to the implementation tab. And we could see now that many of the optional documents that were optional previously became now mandatory documents, and additional documents that were not provided during the previous activity steps, because this was a post-review activity, now are required to be uploaded by the procurement specialist in order to complete the activity step. So these formal procurement requisition, advertisements for pre-qualification, issued pre-qualification document, technical specification document, pre-qualification report are all additional documents that became mandatory to be uploaded in order to continue on this activity, since it turned from post-review to prior review. So first, for example, here I would not need to go to the bidders table in order to fill the required information. Let's say here we need to fill with yes or no whether each bidder was invited. We click on proof of invite. A proof of invite needs to be uploaded for each specific bidder. Since now it is a prior review activity, and now we can save our bidders table information and go back to the datasheet to proceed on other documents. So we can put a deadline for the receipt of clarification, then put a deadline to respond. Then we need to upload the issued bidding document. And now we need to upload the additional documents that were not uploaded previously. So formal procurement requisition document, advertisement for pre-qualification, and then issued pre-qualification document, technical specification document, and pre-qualification report. So all the information is requested here from the procurement specialist as if this activity is now a prior review activity. So now, after completing this activity step, each of the additional document is categorized back in its own step, like the pre-qualification report is now part of the submission of pre-qualification report step. Also, the additional documents that we have uploaded, issued pre-qualification document, advertisement for pre-qualification, has been categorized under their specific step. So now we can continue with this activity as a normal prior review activity, similar to what we have seen. I will hand over back to Alessandro to continue on the other sections now.
Thank you very much, Saad. Let me just share my screen again. And I hope it's a long training. I hope I still have your attention because we're at towards the end of the training, but we have two really important aspects to cover, which are grants, so the implementation of grant activities, and then we will conclude with non-procurement. So two very important aspects and two like newer aspects also of the system that perhaps you haven't seen yet, especially if you were trained towards the very beginning of when we implemented the system. So I am back in all my activities. So what I want to do now is to plan a new activity, and specifically we are going to plan a new grant activity. So I will click on new activity, similar to what we've done before, but now in the category I will choose grants. Let's put a title. This can be grant for agricultural development, window 1 beneficiaries, let's say. Okay. We can then put an activity description, of course. It can just be a bit, oh, no, not the middle paneling. Hang on, sorry about that. Grant for agricultural development. Okay, and then we can put here, for example, window 1 beneficiaries. Okay, we can select an amount. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to say is that the amount should match the amount of the call for proposals. So you're going to have a grant, most likely with a certain amount, maybe it's $1 million, $2 million, and then you will issue different calls for proposals. So each activity that you're creating should match that full amount that then you will distribute to multiple beneficiaries. So let's say that the full amount here is something to the extent of $500,000. You will then choose the method. The method for grants is always the same, grant award. Since this is not procurement, there's only one method, that is the grant award. Contractual arrangement, you can choose between the different types of grants. Grant can be in kind, can be cash, can be a hybrid, it can be an investment agreement of different types. So this will really depend on the grant that you're launching. Let's say this is an hybrid grant, cash, but it also requires some work in kind from the beneficiaries. Then very important that you choose the right type of grant. So there are 4 types of grants available. There is a design grant. This is usually when the beneficiaries have already been identified in the design documents of your project. There is a competitive grant. That means that you need to identify beneficiaries by launching a competitive process. There is sole source selection, so direct contracting, where you're giving it to a specific beneficiary. Or there is targeting, where there's been an activity already previously, a study maybe where beneficiaries were already identified. So you can select these 4 types. For the purpose of this exercise, we will do a competitive grant. Notice that only competitive grants have the option of choosing between shortlist and between no shortlist and shortlist. So if you're running a competitive grant, you may want to do a shortlist round to just make sure that you only select them beneficiaries that have the capacity to implement the grant. So in that case, you will select shortlist. If I was to select design, for example, then no shortlist will not be available. Actually, it will give me an error message if I click that. Because of course, if you already have identified beneficiaries, there's no need for you to do a shortlist round. So I will choose competitive and I will choose shortlist for this exercise. Okay. Now, let me choose the annual work plan and budget reference number. Okay. I will then choose the project area if I have one. Let's see, this is a grant that we want to give to our beneficiaries in the northern region of the country. We will choose the sources of financing. We can split this 50-50. This will all depend on what is indicated in your annual open-end budget, of course. And I will click on Save. Okay. So similar to procurement activities, we now have to create a roadmap. And sorry if I go a bit fast, but we don't have much time left and we've already covered this. It's just those are steps that I have to go through in order to show you the implementation of the grant. So I'm going to have a start date. Start date. We'll click on continue. Okay. Now, as we've done before, we will go back to our activities. And since we've added an activity to the procurement plan, as you can see, there is one in draft now. We will click on the 2023 procurement plan. And we will submit the same for clearance. Okay. So now we'll log in quickly to our project director instead, who will then submit the procurement plan once again for IFAD's no objection. Okay. Okay, I will perform my task as project director and I will quickly submit the procurement plan for IFAD no objection like we've done before. I'll click on continue. Okay. Now IFAD will give us no objection to the procurement plan, so we'll just wait a second for IFAD to do that. Let me refresh the page and see. Oh, okay, just a second more for IFAD to provide no objection. So what I want to show you is the implementation, because we've inserted a nifty little feature in the implementation of the grants, because we listened to, we received a little bit of feedback from projects on how to ease up the workload when it comes to grants, especially when it comes to beneficiaries. Because the main difference here with grants is that you're going to end up most likely with many beneficiaries. We've seen grant activities that sometimes have 50 or 100 beneficiaries. So we wanted to make things a little bit easier. Okay, Senai, if you would please grant no objection to the procurement plan. Thank you.
Hello.
Right away.
Hello, Alessandro.
Yes, hello.
Okay, hello. This is Joseph from Rwanda Prisma Project Manager. So, sorry, I joined late because I was at the hospital. But I want to ask, this case you already provided could be similar in the case of MOU or Memorandum of Understanding or Memorandum of Agreement, could be the same?
Thank you, Joseph, and I hope it's nothing serious. Hope you're feeling better. For when it comes to MOUs, investment agreements, for investment agreements, yes, it's the same process because it's the same process here as the grants. But when it comes to MOUs and to other forms of non-procurement, we have a specific non-procurement function that I will show you right after this one.
Okay, then there is not much before I joined this.
Yes, yes. In a second, I will show you the non-procurement functionality. You see how to handle that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, let me just refresh and see if we have our no objection here. Not yet. I don't know if maybe I'm having some internet issue connection. Let me just log back out and log back in as the procurement specialist. Okay, let me just click on the plan here, the PMU. I have my activities here. Saad, would you like? Could you please assist? Maybe I don't know if maybe it's my internet.
No, now it's fine. Now it's fine.
Now it's fine. Okay, thank you. Let me just. Ah, fantastic. Okay, perfect. So we have our grants, and we're logged back in as the procurement specialist. So let's do our implementation. Let me see. Okay, this is the grant that I planned. I will click on it, and I will go on dates. So as you can see, the structure of the system for implementing a grant is the same. What will change, of course, is the way the workflow looks. So I clicked on Start Implementation. Okay, so let's start our activity here. This is an activity that is subject to IFAD no objection. And the first thing that I would like to tell you is that for grant activities, the no objection starts at the evaluation stage. You see, remember before I was showing you that this hexagon shows you that a no objection is needed. So a no objection is requested at the evaluation stage and then at the draft grant agreement stage. So there's only two no objections in the process. And of course, This is because this call for grant is subject to prior review according to the thresholds. If it was below the threshold, which will be different for each project, then the whole activity will count as post-review, and you would not need to seek an objection. So let me just go quickly on this first stage, which just requires me to upload the documentation, because what I really want to show you is how you add beneficiaries into the system. So here we need to upload the advertisement for pre-qualification. So I'll go quickly on this. Okay, this is my advertisement. I'll upload it. I will then upload my pre-qualification documents that has been issued already. Okay. I click on upload. Oops, once again, I tried to upload a document that is empty. Sorry about that, but it's good that the system blocks me. So I'll upload another one that has a little bit of files, a little bit of data in it. Okay, perfect. So we'll complete this first step and we'll move to pre-qualification closing. We'll choose a date. Let's say we've issued our pre-qualification invite on the 14th of December. We'll click on continue. Now, the following step, as you can see, is the pre-qualification closing. At pre-qualification closing, you want to add the beneficiaries that submitted their expression of interest for this grant. Remember that this grant has a pre-qualification stage that it's optional. I selected it just to show you the entire process, but if you don't have it, don't select it when you create an activity. So if I click on Go to Beneficiaries, it will open what we call the beneficiaries list. So at the beneficiaries list, I will need to add the beneficiaries that that submit their expression of interest. So what I can do is I can click on Add Beneficiary, and here I can add the beneficiary. So I can add, for example, family 1 as the first beneficiary. I just have an address, Main Road 6C, the city of that beneficiary. Once again, we can put Rome and we can put Italy. And now the system asks me to check beneficiary type. I will go quickly on this functionality to let you know that this will really depend on your projects. We've been informed by some projects that they have different types of beneficiaries that apply different thresholds. So the agreement with the beneficiary will be subject to prior review depending on the type of beneficiary. If this does not apply to your project, you will not see this slider here. You will not be requested to select the type of beneficiary. So if it's just a general beneficiary, you haven't selected types, you'll know if your project has them. If you don't have them, then there is no need to select beneficiary type. But here for this test environment, for this training, I'll select it as a large organization, let's say, and I'll click on Save. So as you can see, I've added one beneficiary, it's here. And now I have to tell the system if it has submitted an expression of interest or not, so I can say yes. But remember what I told you before, we are aware of the fact that you may have many beneficiaries to add. In my experience, I've seen processes with maybe 20 beneficiaries, and I've seen others with 50, 100 beneficiaries. So there is a functionality, as you might have seen already by the name of this button here, to bulk add beneficiaries. That means to add beneficiaries directly from an Excel file, so that then you can simply upload the Excel file and all the beneficiaries will automatically appear in the system. So to do that, we'll click on bulk add. The system says that I may not have saved, sorry. Let me cancel. Let me save this single beneficiary that I added. Thank you, system, for warning me. Perfect, the beneficiaries have been updated, and now I click on bulk add beneficiaries. Okay. So the system here is giving me instructions on how to do this. In fact, there is a template that we prepared, and it's a template that is being prepared so that the system recognizes it. It's an Excel file. So what you will do, you click on Download Template here, and as you can see, it has downloaded a template on my computer that I can open in Excel. And basically, this is where I would insert the beneficiaries. I will insert the name, the address, the city, the country, the type. Okay. When it comes to the country, I'm just going to close the template for now. When it comes to the country, you have to use specific acronyms for country. And if you click on download, it will download another Excel file that will show you the acronym that you have to use. As you can see, there are two different types of acronyms that you can use for each country. So it's important that you use the right one so the system recognizes the country. You don't have to do the entry manually. Anyway. Once you download the template, you'll fill in the template with your beneficiaries. For the purpose of this testing, I already have a beneficiaries list ready. Sorry. First I have to choose a file. So let me choose a file. And I have my beneficiaries list that I've prepared. Here it is. So the beneficiaries list is uploaded. Let me show you what that beneficiary list looks like. I think it'll be interesting for you to see once you fill it up, once you fill it in with all the information, the way it looks like. I'm just gonna open it quickly. So you'll have this Excel file, and it'll be in the Excel file that you put the names, as you can see, of your beneficiaries, the address, the cities. Now these are just test names. Here you would have longer, of course, cities. Country has to be an acronym, of course, and then here we've selected the beneficiary type. As I said, this only if it applies to your project. So if I upload this list here, oops, okay, beneficiaries, I think now it should be fine. If I click on upload, we'll wait for the system to process it. And as you can see, all the beneficiaries have appeared together with their countries in the list. Notice how also the one that I added manually is also here. So you can do a hybrid approach. You can add them in bulk, and some of them you can add them individually. So this should actually help you should cut down a little bit the work that you require, the time that it will take you to insert the beneficiaries here. For each beneficiary, you have to select, of course, at this stage, whether they've submitted their expression of interest or not. So we'll just say yes. Okay, maybe this one didn't. We'll say no. We will then now click on save. If we don't want to add any more beneficiary, we'll click on save. And our beneficiaries list has now been updated. So if I go back to the data sheet here, we've completed our beneficiaries list, and we can also complete the step. Notice that also for grants, you can go back one step if you want. If you want to go back to this step, you can by clicking on go back. So that will reopen that step if in case you want to upload a different document or not. You can request a restart of the activity at any point. This will send it back to IFAD to approve a restart of the activity, or you can simply complete the activity. Sorry, you have to put an actual date for the pre-qualification closing, and you can keep going. Okay, so when it comes to grants, I think that was the biggest difference, the biggest functionality that I wanted to show you is how to add beneficiaries. I think that's very important. Everything else is similar to what I showed you and what Saad showed you for post-review, what I showed you for prior review. You'll be requested to upload the pre-qualification report. When you get to call for grants, the call for grant document, then the beneficiaries that you added before, you will select if they submitted their proposal or not. At the evaluation, you'll be required, the very important, to upload the meeting minutes of the approval committee or the evaluation report. It depends how you call it. So when the proposals of beneficiaries are open and the grants are awarded, the grants amounts, and this will require no objection. You will then set which ones have been awarded, the notification of award, and then finally the draft grant agreement and the signed grant agreement. Okay, having said that, since we don't have that much time, I would like to go back to the plan and then finally show you instead how to implement a non-procurement activity. So before we start, what I want to show you is the non-procurement activities. You will find them, you have, of course, to plan to start it, but these are activities that will not appear in your procurement plan because they are not procurement activity, they are non-procurement activities. Therefore, there is not a stage when you plan a non-procurement activity, you do not need to send the procurement plan for no objection. You can immediately start a non-procurement activity and immediately request if there's no objection for it. So in that way, it's very similar to the way it is in Notus, just that, of course, it has some enhanced functionalities because we have a better system now. So if I click on new activity, in the category, you see there is a new category here that we've added that is called the non-procurement. So I will click on non-procurement, and I will then choose I will need to add more information. As I said, non-procurement activities are different from procurement activities. So many of the fields that you see here are now optional because you may want to open a non-procurement activity that does not have a specific estimated amount. Let's say maybe you're opening, you want to give a request for an objection to the terms of reference of staff. In that case, the terms of reference would not have an amount. So there's no need for you to insert any amount in that case, and the system will not count it as an error. Same goes for the annual work plan and budget reference number. Maybe that activity, that non-procurement request is linked to a reference number in the annual work plan and budget, and then you can add it. Otherwise, the system will not count it as an error if you don't have a reference number to the annual work plan and budget. So it really depends, because non-procurement can be anything. We've created some workflows or some specific non-procurement requests, but then anytime you need a no objection from IFAD, you can use non-procurement, even if it's not categorized, as I will show you. So for our example, let's say that we want to request a no objection for a contract amendment. So I will select category non-procurement, and I will say in the title, contract amendment for activity number 23. Here you can be a bit more specific. Justified by inflation and increase of cost. So since we're talking about increase of cost, then in this case, we want to insert an amount here. So let's say this is $25,000 contract amendment. Now, the method, this is very important. It's very important because, as I said, we've looked at how many non-procurement activities had been open in Notus. We listened to the feedback of the projects, and we tried to come up with as many non-procurement requests as possible that match your needs. So you may use non-procurement to send the annual work plan and budget. You may use it for contract amendment, like in this example. You may use it for a memorandum of agreement. You may use it for a memorandum of understanding that you need no objection to. You may use it for a project implementation memo. So you can submit the PIM here, just like you were doing in Notus. You can use it for the recruitment of staff. So this will be the category you have to use. This will be the type that you have to use when you want to submit the interview report and the draft contract with the staff, with the procurement specialist, finance specialist, project director, and so on. You can also use it to just send the terms of reference of staff if you need an objection to just the terms of reference, or you can use it to receive an authorization for staff members to engage in a training, perhaps a training trip somewhere to receive training. For any other request that you don't see here, you can use the other category. The other category is just a simple non-procurement request that will allow you to upload any type of document, to write any type of description, any kind of request to IFAD, and therefore IFAD can give you an objection on the basis of what you're uploading and requesting. So don't worry if you don't see the type of request for non-procurement that you need here, because if you don't see it, you can always use other. So in the case at hand, we want to do a contract amendment, as I said. So we'll click on contract amendment. We can put the reference number of the original activity in the annual plan and budget, of course. Choose our sources of financing, in this case, the applicable. As I said, this is an optional field right now for non-procurement. So if you have this information, insert it, otherwise there's no need. I will click on save. The activity has been successfully created. Now notice that if that I still have to give a timeline, of course, but in this case, being a non-procurement request, the roadmap will simply be the date in which we're starting this activity. It will be the date of today, because it's not a procurement activity. It's just a request for no objection for non-procurement. So the activity has been created, and please notice that the start implementation button is already available. As I said, this activity is non-procurement. It doesn't go in the procurement plan, so we don't need a no objection from IFAD before we can implement the activity. So we created the activity, we planned it, we can click on start implementation right away. And here, since this is a contract amendment, the system will ask me a few information. They will ask me, first of all, the draft contract amendment. Of course, that's a mandatory document to set in. So I can browse the files and upload my draft contract amendment. Draft contract, okay. I'll upload it. They will ask me then any other document. This is an optional document. Any supporting document you have, you can use this field to upload it. As you can see, let me just zoom in a little bit. This field is missing the exclamation mark. So this means this is an optional document. If you have it, you have it. Otherwise, there's no need. Under description, you can add the description for IFAD and say something like this: contract amendment is needed due to inflation and has been approved by our project engineer already. Okay, so then you can click on save. And notice that the system is not asking us to upload the original signed contract that we are amending now. This is because we have a smarter functionality that is this one up here. This is the activity link selector. So through this, you can link this contract amendment directly to an activity that is already in the system that has been completed. So if you already have that activity in the system, let's say we're amending a contract for works here, and that original contract for works is already there, it's already in the system as a completed activity, you can click on edit and select exactly the activity that you are amending. What is the contract that you're amending? This will create a link between the two activities that therefore will help you to keep track of what you're amending. So if I choose supply of water pumps, for example, and save, I've created that link, and this will also inform IFAD what is it that you're amending. So this saves time for everyone to understand which activity you're amending. I will then click on request for no objection and add a comment for IFAD. Dear IFAD, this is a request to amend the water pump contract. I'll click on continue, and now IFAD will provide the no objection in the same way that we've seen before. So this is now under IFAD review. And then once IFAD provides the no objection, I will show you that we will simply be requested to upload the signed contract amendment and any other supporting document we want. So let me just refresh the page. Okay, as you can see here, IFAD has provided no objection. Notice that any other functionality that we showed you before is available also here. You can amend this step if you perhaps thought that you made a mistake, and then IFAD will be able to provide a second no objection to the documents. But if you are sure that everything is fine, you've received your no objection to the draft contract amendment, you can click on complete. And that will move you to the next step. The next step, where the only required document is a signed contract amendment, of course, at this step, so then we can close the activity. So we will upload our signed contract and upload the file. As I said here, any other supporting document you may want to upload, you can under this optional field. You can request a restart of the activity like we showed you before with the procurement activities as well. Otherwise, you click on complete. You have to put a date. That will be the date of the signed contract, of course. And you click on continue. Now, the activity has been completed. So if I go back in the procurement plan, I see that I have, you see, this is the symbol for non-procurement, is this white circle. I have a non-procurement activity that is completed. But you see how this is kept separated from the procurement activities. And it's shown here because I am displaying all activities. So under all activities, I also have non-procurement request. Here it is. Here's our activity. But if I instead, I select the 2023 procurement plan, I will no longer be able to see non-procurement activities because non-procurement activities do not belong to the procurement plan. They're kept separate so that there is no confusion.
Alessandro?
Yes, please.
Hi, Ermina.
Hi, Ermina.
Is the contract amendment automatically set for IFAD's no objection?
So the activity...
Because we have some cases when we don't need the IFAD's no objection for contract amendment.
So let me click on the activity here. So here, yes, it is automatically sent for IFAD no objection. Maybe we can engage bilaterally. You can tell us about those cases because usually a contract amendment does require a no objection from IFAD.
It's not always the case, depending on the PAL. In our case, only if it's 25% or 10% above the original amount. So it's not always the case when we need IFAD's no objection. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. We can have a chat about this. Thank you. Okay, so now that the activity is completed here, I think the last thing I want to show you before I give back the floor to Senai, perhaps we can have another round of questions. The last part is under the username on the top right corner here. As you can see, we have preferences and support. These are two aspects that preferences have been shown by Senai already, support and help. The support page, if you click on it, it will open a support page here where you can request for technical assistance. If you're experiencing bugs in the system, something related to the system itself, and you need help, you can use this page. As you can see, open is one of the options, and request for technical help. Please don't use this page for procurement support. For that, refer to the SPO and the SPO team, because on the other side of this are technical experts that won't be able to help you about procurement. The final tab instead, under the user, is help. If you click on help, you will access the quick cards. These quick cards basically are your one-stop shop if you need to get more information on how to handle the system. We keep on adding these quick cards as they're being released. And so soon you will have a complete list of any task you want to do in the system, like what we showed you today during the training. You can open one of these quick cards and they're step-by-step guides. So having said that, I'm going to stop sharing the screen and I'm going to give the floor back to Senai. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you, Saad. Thank you, Ioannis, for facilitating the chat, and the colleagues for all the engagement and the interesting questions. I would like to open the floor, since we have 6 minutes, to a few of the outstanding questions. I hope we met your expectations in terms of what was being covered in this training, and we are available. Please raise your hand if you have any questions. I see Ajibar Hirok. And then
thanks for your floor. Recently, we know through notice few amendment of contract regarding draft contract. Now, this draft contract including open or not?
Thank you. I think this is a great question, and I think it's an important point to clarify. So what are the plans for the contract monitoring tool? So right now, the contract monitoring tool is still separate. In the beginning of next year, we're starting a new phase to integrate the contract monitoring tool into open. So we're going to have that end-to-end visibility. So also to reduce the information and the inputs you have to do in terms of data input. But for the time being, you need to continue registering contracts in the CMT. So when we do the migration, we will do a data migration. I think by sometime in Q2, the new CMT will go live. We will review it. We will also update it based on feedback we received in the last few years and how we can minimize the data input from you. So this is, and because a lot of the information will be coming from the implementation steps. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you.
Thank you. TK and then Babayuku.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think it's kind of a request that I would want that I would make from you. That can we possibly have a link to the presentation that have been made? Then the second request, this has been a marathon training. I think you have the time we could lose the presenters. So maybe in future, or possibly because this is quite complex. It's quite a complex training and is highly technical too. So for us to be effective, we would request that we could quickly have a refresher as pronto as possible, so that we make our work as effective as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, TK. No, I appreciate it. I know we covered a lot of ground. We will share the recording so you can refer back to it. We will also the quick cards are available in the system, like Alessandro showed you. We're working on videos, tutorial videos that will also hopefully will be ready sometime in January, that you will so you can refer to them and on how to do things, because I think it's important. And we will schedule refresher trainings. Right now in this training, we covered everything. Refresher trainings are going to be more concise and more shorter. But we thought it was important to have this now to really try to bring everyone to the same speed. But appreciate the feedback. and we, of course, we will take it on board, and we will schedule more refresher trainings. Thank you. Baba Yuka.
Here in Nigeria.
Yes, good to see you, but I cannot hear you. You sound far away.
Yeah, mine is not a question per se, because we are at the end of 2023. We are currently working on 2024. So I want to have a refresher on how to prepare this contract, sorry, the procurement plan of 2024, and then how to roll over procurement activities of 2023 to 2024. Thank you so much.
Okay, we will we can cover this aspect. Let me take before we're very quickly. Let me take two more questions.
Hello.
Hello, Joseph.
Yeah, there is also a question. Maybe I used the chat, I didn't get an answer, where I asked if the beneficiaries that were shown by Sandro are similar like a service provider that will be implementing the different activities. Yeah, that's the first question. Then the second one, you needed to answer the question from feedback in the chat box.
Okay, so on the question from Philbert regarding access, you can discuss this with the. So accesses are managed by the senior procurement officers of each respective region. So for you, it'll be Paul and his team. They can grant access to multiple users to issue no objections requests. So, but it needs to be sent through a formal letter. On the grants beneficiaries, those are the beneficiaries that are this is for matching grants who are uploaded. I'm not sure. Maybe Alessandra can respond to your question in the chat if it's there. I'm gonna take two more questions, and because I want to actually tackle the question from Baba Yakubu from on the carry forward of activities. So I would say let's take 5 more minutes, even though time is running out. Let's just do 5 minutes. I'm going to give the floor to Saad, which will show us how the carry forward between one fiscal year to the other works. Saad, can you quickly show that? We really have 5 minutes.
Yes, yes.
I think it's important we show.
Yes,
we
I
cover
am
this.
sharing my screen, and just let me know. I am logged in as a procurement specialist, and as you can see from my screen, there is only 2023 procurement plan in the menu. So in order to start preparing a 2024 procurement plan, you need to click on new activity and start creating your new activity for 2024. So, second. Okay, so we select, for example, one activity, let's say supply of seeds, and then we put an amount, let's say 60,000. Okay, we just choose our method quickly, our contractual arrangements, pre-qualification, single envelope, the sources of financing. And once we save, now the difference here, to differentiate this from 2023, we would go to dates and put the start date of this activity in 2024. Let's say I want to start from January 17, 2024. And as you will see now, in the main page, if I go to the main project page, there is a 2024 label that you can see here next to this activity, making this activity a part of 2024 procurement plan. And also in the all activities menu on the left side, you can see there is now a 2024 procurement plan. If I select this 2024 procurement plan, I could see this activity of 2024, the new one, plus all the activities that are still in implementation mode and are not yet completed with the label of 2023, but these are carried forward to the 2024 procurement plan. Of course, these do not make part of the 2024 procurement plan. These are just carry forward activities, while only now we have one activity in the 2024 procurement plan. That's mainly how we see. Yes, and we can submit it separately.
Yeah, while you submit, I think it's important to clarify that activities are automatically carried forward. If you no longer, like, let's say one of the carry forward activities, if you no longer require that activity, you're not going to implement it anymore, and that you had planned in 2023 and it was carried forward, you need to go and cancel that activity like we showed you earlier. So Saad, show again the 2024 plan and then start the submission process.
Yeah,
So
this
you
is
see?
the 2024 plan.
So
yeah,
so maybe what? Yes.
Click submit for clearance, and like you would see, this is submitted separately with a submitted for clearance status for this activity. And now, as a project director, I can go to my plan and refresh page. I go now and user. As a project director, we would click on the 2024 procurement plan in the menu, and we can submit here for no objection to IFAD. We click on continue, and now the plan has gone to IFAD separately.
Okay. So
that's
now
it. IFAD is reviewing.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to now review the plan and issue. But maybe is this concept clear that on the carry forward, maybe we can take while we're approving the 2024 plan, it would be good to hear from colleagues about the carry forward if it's clear, because it's something that, now a lot of you will be starting to prepare your 2024 plan. So it's important that the concept is clear. We implemented like this, the carry forward function, so you don't need to recreate activities, but you only need to then delete the ones that you no longer want. Any comments on this? It'd be good to or anything we need to. Yes, Yakubu, Baba Yakubu, is that clear?
Yeah, I understand right now.
Activities are carried forward automatically. You don't need to carry them there. You only need to delete the activities. I'm responding to Fandu Toan in the chat. You only need to delete activities you no longer want. By going into the plan, Saad, the plan has been approved. Maybe you can show how to remove an activity from the carry forward.
Yes, sorry. Okay, so I will now refresh the page. Yeah.
1 second. Is it approved? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it's approved now.
Show the activities. So this.
Sinai, if I may.
Yes, Tina.
All right. Okay. Sorry for interrupting, Saad, but I just wanted to clarify. The activities that are not the approved activities in the 2023 procurement plan that are not being started will be automatically carried over to 2024. Now, how about those activities that have been started in 2023 but are not yet completed? Are these also carried over to 2024?
Saad?
These activities are only carried forward here in the 2024 procurement plan, but not as part of the 2024 procurement plan. In case you want your 2023 activity to be part of the 2024 procurement plan, you would need to cancel it from the 2023 procurement plan and create it in the 2024 procurement plan.
That's good.
Was that clear?
Yeah, I think that's clear now, Sinai. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Saad.
Okay, fantastic. We implement it like this so you don't have to recreate activities. So most times a lot of the activities just carry forward. I hope this implementation, we thought a lot about this and how to make it clear what is a carry forward thanks to the label. And also I think another important aspect is that I think colleagues, we are well beyond the time. I would like to thank everyone for the participation, the time. I hope IFAD Open is going to make, as we continue we're going to continue in developing and investing in strengthening the system based on the feedback we receive. So the development is going to continue. We will integrate the contract monitoring tool, and you will see we will also develop a lot of support material. So, I'm happy to receive feedback. A lot of you have my contact. You can reach out through us through the SPO teams. We will do more refreshers, shorter. But I really want to thank all of you, because this system is we're really trying to develop something. The developers really are developing a system for you. And this is the goal, something that really helps your day-to-day job, minimizing input, minimizing errors. And so you can focus on the qualitative aspects of your job rather than. So we will be in touch, and I'm very happy to have seen so many colleagues and familiar faces. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a good end of the year, a very positive new year with hopefully a lot of positivities and success to all of you and your families. Wishing you all the best. Thank you very much, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sana.
Thank you, everyone.
That was good.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yakub.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you very much for your support.
Please, are we getting the recording this week?